Yeah, sure.
I'm super distracted by the potential of conversation in the background.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can see someone there. Let's start the show off by watching Amber walk by the camera. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, ManaTank Podcast, February the 9th, 2014. My name's Matt Eads, joined today by the whole gang.
Hey, gang.
Shock! Big shock.
And Eric
Hi.
as well.
I was waiting for everybody else before I said something.
Hey, gang.
Hello. What's going on? We're back, man, after Super Bowl. Seahawks.
After the big
Seahawks
game,
After-
lowercase.
Sorry,
Hayden,
after Superb Owl.
Superb Owl.
Yeah.
You know, after you mentioned that on the show last week, I started to listen more intently to the radio ads down here, and you're right, not a single person says Super Bowl.
Because you
But
can't say
They
it.
were getting really creative with the way that they were piecing the words together to imply it. Like I heard somebody use the exact example that you did, like a super bowl of nuts and just some stupid stuff like that.
Yeah,
saw
Superb
that.
Owl.
I saw the Superb Owl on,
Colbert Report.
Colbert Report. Yeah.
Yep.
Superb owl.
It's funny shit, man.
Yeah.
This feels weird starting with other music. I don't know. I don't really like it.
You didn't just listen to it yourself?
No, I should have, because
Yeah,
now
maybe.
I'm just kind of at a loss. Maybe I'll just play it in my headphones while you guys, you know.
I
just
thought
sit there-
last
just sit
time
there
we
quietly.
also started without the music.
No, I think last time I tried and it did, I don't know. Anybody not watching live, they never know, because I am a master of audio fandangling. It's actually what it says on my diploma.
Production.
Audio fandangler.
Uh-huh. And so they never know. But for us, we know. You guys know my failings. Few as they are. What's going on, Oliver? How's recap last show? Some hard Super Bowl bets were
Yeah.
laid down.
Yeah.
Hard and fast.
Yep, that is true.
Yeah, so it was, Kevin picked the Broncos to win, the Denver Broncos.
I
and,
picked. To be fair, I picked Peyton Manning. I didn't really care who.
Well, he lost too, for
I-
sure.
First-
He
But
didn't
yeah,
lose.
He
First
single-handedly
play of
lost
the game. First
He
play of the game
lost-
was a safety.
He
He
felt
was
bad for the
possibly
Seahawks and said,
the
"Hey, they've
biggest
never."
loser of that game.
He said they've never had a Super Bowl. I'm going to give them one. That's just how nice of a guy he is.
That
What a
is
good
pretty solid move.
What a
60 to
good guy.
1. That first point of the game being a safety paid out 60 to 1.
Holy.
Could have made a lot of money.
The party I was at had the weird outside bets, and like one of them was like, what is the first point going to be scored? Either like touchdown or field goal or other, safety being other, and there
You gotta
were
know it's-
actually.
It's obviously a great Super Bowl party when they don't even know what the other points are. It's like, yeah, you
No,
know,
well-
there's some other ways to get points, but we'll just call it other.
No, but like other includes like safety. What
There's
is
only
other?
one other style of other point.
Is that just a safety?
Yeah,
Okay, well,
touchdown, safety, field goal.
What about touchback? Don't you guys got touchbacks in the NFL?
What about safe downs?
Your lack of Americanness is showing.
No, there's totally a way, because we looked this up a couple Super Bowls ago. There's a way to get 1 point in,
Oh,
yeah.
in the
oh
NFL.
yeah, I think
Isn't that if you fumble it in your own end zone?
It's a super weird way to do it, yeah.
You have to fumble it in your own end zone, I think.
Yeah,
or
and
something, right?
recover it, and get tackled in the end zone, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's just, if you just get tackled in your own end zone.
that's a safety.
1
Is that-
point
is that a
safety
safety?
is on the extra point attempt. If the kick gets blocked, wait, that's college.
Oh, we're fact checking. Oh, here we go. This is the beginning of the end.
Yep.
Looking shit up on the internet. Sports
Defensive
podcast,
team
man.
recovers or intercepts the ball, then retreats backwards into their end zone and be tackled. 1
Yeah,
point
there you go. Okay.
is awarded to the offensive. Fucking Christ! It doesn't make any sense.
What doesn't make it makes perfect sense. What doesn't make sense about that?
No, it took us like 6 times reading it before we finally realized that it didn't make any sense, and we were just ignore the fact that you can get the point.
That being said, safety, first point of the game. Paid out 60.
Yep.
Put $5 on that, $300. Boom, in the bank.
I'd have put 10 grand on that.
So there was a dude tweeting I forget who he used to be a boxer or something, tweeting he made like $60 million off that bet because he put $1 million on it or something.
Jeez.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know Floyd Mayweather Jr. bet like $10.4 million on the Broncos. On that game.
Sucks to be that rich.
Yeah.
I was reading that like it was almost the worst Super Bowl ever, like the biggest gap between the teams. But then they got those 8 points right at the end, so that.
Well, they did set quite a number of records.
Wasn't even a record.
Fastest score ever, and then Manning set a personal record for most losses in the postseason.
Yeah, biggest loser of that game, I'm telling you.
And I wonder, he's got to be getting close to most chokes in the Super Bowl.
Is that right?
I think so. That's it. That's definitely his second choke, maybe his third.
I don't know about these sports. I don't even know about these sports video games, really.
All I know is I'm hooked on hockey now after going to those 2 games last week.
Did you have a good time there?
Oh, fuck yeah. We had a phenomenal time. We didn't have to pay anything for tickets. We got like $500 worth of tickets for free. So the first game we went to, we were sitting like 8 rows up center ice and just completely got them for free. And I sat next to some Eastern European dude who plays with the Coyotes on their practice team, so he was explaining everything to me as it was happening, but he was an LA Kings fan. So the Coyotes just destroyed the Kings, and he was getting all pissed off. Like, his whole family was there, and they're yelling and screaming at each other, and his wife was a Coyotes fan, so it was fun to watch those two go at it. But the only thing I wanted to see was I wanted to see a goal, and I wanted to see a fist fight, and I saw both within 3 minutes of sitting down.
That was Coyotes and the Kings, you say?
Yeah, it was a great game. And then went to the Coyotes against the Buffalo Sabres, and they got blown out. But I still got to see fist fights, and one of the refs took a puck to the face and was just spewing blood all over the ice.
Yeah, that's hockey. That's what I'm talking about.
That's some
awesome.
great American priorities. I want to go to a hockey game and I want to see a fist fight and somebody get his face blown up.
It's like going to NASCAR. I only want to go to NASCAR because I want to see an accident.
Kings were the Stanley Cup champs last year, right? There was
Yeah,
that
Matt and I were actually there.
We were in LA for E3, Game 7
Wow.
or whatever it was. Yeah,
That must have been tepid.
it was scary because there was like cops everywhere because they're like, this city might riot at any minute, so you guys got to leave the convention center and get back to your hotel.
I know they get wild over like basketball.
No, LA and everybody out there looks for a reason to riot.
Right, yeah.
The Raiders win, they riot. The Raiders lose, they riot.
Raiders.
It's fun to riot. What can you
It's
say?
like Vancouver, man. They just burn Vancouver to the ground every couple years. Start over.
You get free stuff if you riot.
So anyways, Kevin bet on the Broncos to win, and I, for the sake of just like...
Having a bet?
Having a bet, I chose Seattle, and we put a pizza on it. As luck would happen, Seattle won. I won the pizza.
That pizza is now on its way.
We're trying, in one way or another. We're trying to go through this thing, and you can't order a pizza. You can't gift a pizza. That's kind of dumb.
Because you have to pay. The way that pizza works is you have to pay for it when it gets to your house. It shows up, and then you pay for it.
Yeah, apparently that's like a hard and fast rule, too. It's like...
But, like, if they would allow prepayment, that means that there's this no hassle about, like, oh, buddy doesn't have change or buddy's short at the door. Then what? Then you have that awkwardness.
I bet you the reason they do it is because if you had prepayment like that, no one would ever tip. I would show up to your door and you would have already paid for it, and then you wouldn't have him staring at you trying to make the awkward conversation about, hey, you should
But
give me
that's
a good
the driver's
tip.
problem. Like, that's not the company's problem.
The way it works,
I would have fronted like a $10 tip if had you sent a pizza to me. I would have gave the guy something.
Well, shit, should have told me that because I was gonna like put the tip into the bill.
Somebody's at my door. I don't think it's my pizza. Just be cool.
Let's see how this plays out. He's
Could
walking
go
to the
many
door.
different
Right.
ways.
Remember, this is also an audio podcast, so we are now watching Oliver walk to his door. Oh, we can't see the door though. I just want to see if like a spray of blood comes flying off screen and then Oliver just falls backwards. Or some other guy falls backwards. Then Oliver comes back and says, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. I'll see you guys next week.
Well, Hid doesn't seem too concerned, so
No,
it can't
yeah,
be anything
weird.
too bad.
How about
Maybe
them
it's his
video games,
landlord.
man? Any of you guys play any of those those video games this week? Let's start with Mr. Kevin Byer.
How much Marvel Puzzle Quest have you played?
You know, quite a bit, but not enough. I feel like I should have been playing more.
Not enough to justify your $150 purchase?
Yeah, no, we're way past that now.
Oh shit! How are we? Did we break $300 now?
No, not
Oh, okay. Well, you know, we always aspire better and better and better.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll just randomly throw some more money at it.
Now you got 2 tablets. I mean, think one on.
Oh
iOS,
yeah, that's right. I got
one on Android. I
got 2 tablets now. Because
you could dual screen the Marvel Puzzle Quest.
I wonder if I could set it up so that one of my Marvel Puzzle Quest accounts like fights the other one.
Game the system a little bit, yeah.
Well, no, I mean I would try to win on both. Like I wouldn't just throw the game just because I'm playing myself.
Wouldn't you just break even then? Wouldn't you? I'm not really.
Well, I mean, one side
no
would
Marvel
eventually
Puzzle
win,
Quest
but
expert,
it would be because of my own skill against playing myself. It wouldn't be because I threw it.
Eric just joined the call twice. Weird.
Yeah, now we have Mirror Eric in the call.
Whoa, this is weird. What's going on?
I don't know.
And
Don't
one
worry
of them
about it.
doesn't move.
Don't worry about it.
It's
I got
like
kicked out.
going still.
Freaking out. I am freaking out right now.
Are there 2 of me in there?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I got this Asus tablet still in the box because I totally plan on keeping it.
Doug Gilmore tells me it's pronounced Asus.
It's Asus.
Well, Doug Gilmore
Okay, you guys
says
both
otherwise.
sound like douchebags
I've
right
always
now.
said Asus.
I'm going to pronounce it how I pronounce it.
The official Ubisoft versus Ubisoft, it's officially Ubisoft, by the
Thank
way.
you.
I looked it up this week. It's Ubisoft.
Is that right?
Yes.
But they're French.
You're telling me.
You got to take that into account, that they're dumb.
The French people told me. The French people from Ubisoft told me.
The France.
Did you contact them for comment and they settled it once and for all?
Absolutely. I just walked over there. I was like, "Hey guys, how do you say your? We do this show. Sometimes we talk about you. Also, what's up with Watch Dogs?" No comment.
Watch Dogs, that's next month, isn't it?
No.
That
Did it
might
get
not
pushed
even
again?
that might not even be this year. Who knows?
Really?
That's the next Last Guardian.
Yeah, that game might just not ever come
Is that
out.
right?
Yeah.
It seemed like it was like ready to come out when we were at E3.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a launch title. And then they pushed it back, and then they
And they realized it's not done.
the trademark got canceled apparently, and then
That was a
uncanceled,
hoaxer, but-
and
Well, let me
There's
tell you
also-
about a game that is coming out. South Park, March 4th.
That's the week. That's 2 weeks. So it goes 2 weeks from Tuesday is Thief. 2 weeks from that is
South Park.
I guess a week after that is South Park. A week
then
after
after
that is
that-
Titanfall.
And
Titanfall
Dark
got
Souls 2.
delayed.
No.
I feel like there's a Call of Duty game
Yeah.
coming around in there
March
sometime
4th.
too.
Titanfall
No, it got delayed.
Titanfall got delayed on Xbox 360
Yeah.
and PS3. If you
Oh,
want
is
to
that-
fucking play that garbage version
Is that
of it.
the story?
Yeah, and it only got delayed a week, so
Oh.
whatever.
And then
forget about
when's
Dark Souls
Infamous? Infamous is 13th.
13th, that is a Friday?
Yeah, why is it coming out on a Friday?
I think.
No, it's a
I don't know,
Thursday.
'cause
Thursday. Yeah.
I
That'll
don't
be
know.
so
I'm
that'll
not
be
sure that's the right date.
2 days after Titanfall. It is somewhere in there. March is it's all man. We're close.
And when is Ground Zeroes? That 2-hour masterpiece.
I'm not sure. I'll look that up.
That's
That
the
second week in March is going to be huge, man. We got Titanfall, we got Dark Souls, we got My Kid, we got Infamous.
one. Got my
Yeah,
kid.
I can't wait to play the shit out of your kid.
Titanfall and Dark Souls came before you.
Hey, I'm just going in the order of the dates. I mean,
Sure,
my kid-
sure.
I kind of hope my kid's born on the day that Dark Souls 2 comes out, because that would be pretty fucking sweet.
That'd be something, eh?
Oh, that'd be fucked up. That kid's gonna grow up to be a serial killer. March 18th is.
My dad made me
Ground
play
Zeroes.
Mega Man 2 this whole time.
Yeah.
You wouldn't let me play
This
Grand
game-
Theft Auto. It's just all these shitty retro games.
It's impossible.
Also,
So
I
decided
don't think
to
he
kill
knows as
people.
much about Mega Man as he claims to.
He put this hat on me the minute I was born.
That's it's just coming out and going right on. Like, Doctor, catch him or her in this. Because the baby comes out head first, right? So it's like
Yeah,
just
that's right.
position it and there you go.
Nice.
That would be pretty ruined for that.
Give the head a wipe and then put this on.
Are you gonna watch? Are you gonna watch The Miracle of Childbirth, Eric?
Not sure I'm ready for that.
No.
Nah.
Why
What
not?
if this
Isn't
is? What if this is the only kid you guys have? You're never gonna see the majesty of a new life coming into the world.
Without getting into too much graphic detail, I
It's a
feel like
beautiful
just the
thing.
visual of that would ruin a lot of things for me.
It's a beautiful thing. Oh no, there's a lot of shit is already gonna be ruined. Don't worry. Having kids, like your life, your social life, any money you were saving up, like it's basically over. I mean,
Yeah, Eric would probably stop doing the show.
if you
think
kill
Matt's-
yourself now,
I think either Matt's either too tactful to say or either too naive to say what it really ruins, but we all know what it ruins.
yeah.
Yeah. Start the show on a showstopper.
Oh, gross.
Kids are too young. You kids.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about the stork.
I'm trying to think of like an analogy, but nothing really.
My uncle thought for the longest time when he was a little kid that, because he was the youngest of five or six, he thought that the way his mom had gotten pregnant was that my grandpa gave her a rose and then boom, she was pregnant.
Is that
So-
not how
Isn't
it-
that how it works? I thought that was how it
the
works.
fuck? I've been buying girls roses all these years for.
Well, shit, how many kids do you have
What
running
the
around?
You were just trying to get a bunch of random chicks pregnant? Are you fucking kidding me?
The Bachelor kicks him off the show and then
With
gets
a
him
rose.
impregnated. Yeah.
I owe it to society to pass my genes on. All right, we can't let this perfection.
Are those
fall
the
off the face
genes
of the
that
earth.
you don't enjoy how they accentuate your junk, or the ones that do?
No, like, well, no.
Because that was a real weird conversation.
Because I bought these new jeans this week and like tried them on, sat down in the they have the fitting room, so like tried them on. There's a bench in there, sat down to make sure they'd be comfy, and they felt fine. And then I get them home and like, oh wait, these are too tight in the nuts. These crush my balls when I sit down. Fucking great. Here's another pair of jeans I'll never ever wear
Take
again.
them back.
Can I do
But-
that? I already took the tags off.
That's
So?
fine. Give him the
I
tags.
farted in them. Will they still take them back? I wore them for a whole day.
Just dust them off if you can.
Where did you buy them?
Walmart.
Oh,
Fucking
they'll
Christ,
take those
Walmart.
back.
Walmart will take back half-eaten bags of M&Ms.
Yeah, but they were only like, I think they were like $20 regular, and they were like 60% off, so it was like $8 or something. I don't want to be that guy who returns $8 jeans. $8.
You're the guy that buys jeans from Walmart.
It's true.
Because I don't give a fuck. What do I care? I need
Neither does
something.
Walmart.
I need something to save the world
Were
from the
these-
sight of my bare ass. Is
Were these like
basically-
the Brett Favre Lee Wranglers that are stiff as cardboard when you put them on, and you have to work construction sites for 10 years before they finally become comfortable?
No, he
kinda
accidentally got
stiff,
the Miley Cyrus brand jeans that
shit.
Walmart sells there to 11 and 12-year-old girls.
That would make sense as to why they're a little tight in the front.
Also, tighter jeans are something you just got to get used to, but
Yeah,
in the
no, I
end,
totally-
they just feel much better, I feel.
I like baggy jeans. I like a little bit
Although,
of bag in my jeans.
scientifically, tight jeans are terrible for male reproduction. That's why supposedly Scottish men are the most virile, because they wear kilts and their junk just hangs out all the time.
It's all about airflow, man. It's like it's like being a farmer. It's
I'm
all
not
about
talking about tight jeans. I'm not talking about those Lee Wranglers. I'm talking about just kind of
well-fitting
snug-fitting
jeans.
Not baggy.
Skinny jeans can go to hell.
I like baggy. I just
So there's
It's
no
just me.
Ed Hardy's in Oliver's closet.
No.
no. Ed Oliver is all about the well-fitting jeans. All about them, 100%. Don't even.
They're-
You
they're
subscribe to Gentleman's Quarterly. Don't even tell me you don't give a shit about what your jeans feel like.
With the inactivity I've been subject to lately, they're kind of getting into like tight jeans territory.
Maybe that's good. Maybe that's you're like, oh, jeans are getting tight. I gotta get back on the old treadmill.
Yeah, that's my sign. And actually, I have been hitting the gym and like the pool and stuff. I've been hitting the pool. That's crazy.
Do you have a pool in your building?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, swimming laps. I can barely swim, but that's something I'm working on as well.
Well, when end time comes, I mean, you're gonna have to, unless you want to be a useless, like the little brother or Ellie. You want to be someone's got to carry you across all the water.
Aren't you people from an island surrounded entirely by water?
I hate hearing this.
What do you mean, your people?
My people are, but I was born in Canada.
Fucking racist.
Landlocked Alberta, Canada.
His parents swam to America, and after that, I mean, why does Oliver doesn't need? He's here. He doesn't need to know how to swim.
Exactly. They swam to Canada and be like, I don't want to subject my son to this shit, so I'm taking him inland.
Go as far away from the water as we can.
He's not learning how to swim.
Landlocked.
Right. That was an ignorant statement.
No, actually, a funny thing, bringing this back to video games, which is the topic of our podcast often, is another reason why I kind of want to swim, learn how to swim, is because playing through Assassin's Creed, like, that guy swims like crazy, and I'm like, I want to be just like Edward Kenway.
I feel like the amount of shit that he has on him, though, would just sink him to the bottom of the ocean instantly.
I bet one of those pistols weighs like 20 pounds, and he has like 4 on his chest.
His boots. You always see in the movies, they always take off their boots first.
Yeah, and he's got those big, like, flowing assassin robes. Those can't be light.
Maybe he's got webbed toes, and that's why he has to take his boots off.
Hey, hands like fish hooks, toes like a merman.
Feet.
Whatever. Anyways, yeah, I'm trying to get my tight-fitting jeans into well-fitted jeans. That's
trying to learn how to do that one where you are in the water and you grab the guy and then you pull him down into the water and he goes.
Yeah, that's the Templar's favorite one to see.
I was gonna say, show me that one because that is my favorite. Let's swing it back here, Kev. What did you play? Did you play any games? Did you really play any games?
I played one game.
Is it the game that we all played?
It is the game we all played.
Sweet. Let's get into some spoiler territory then, man.
Yeah, can we?
Sure, yeah.
Fuck these guys.
If we're gonna spoil The Wolf Among Us episode 2,
don't throw me under the bus.
For the next, I would say 20 minutes. You know what though? If you haven't listened to it, stop watching this. Go play it. It's not very long, and then come back and hear what we have to say.
Yeah,
Spoil
it was uncomfortably short. I felt it was too short.
Really? I thought the length was...
It felt like it was about hour and a half, maybe hour 45.
Most, hour and a half.
It's just because it had like zero interaction in this one.
This was just pure plot dump.
Everything was just plot dump and talking to people and maybe a little bit of conversation. But there wasn't even a lot of conversation options in this one.
No, there's like 2 action sequences, and I think you only had like 3 major decisions to make.
I sort of realized partway through this one that I really like the way they set up the conversations and the way they sort of let you build the character the way you want it to be. Like, they all totally lead to the same response, but it's just something about picking what he says. Like, it feels real natural. It just flows. Like, I don't know. They do something real good with those conversations.
As long as you stay within the same vein of the character that you're trying to build. Like, I'm trying to build that Bigby who's all about justice, and he started out a huge dick, but then he's starting to realize that he's not going to win anybody over by being like that, so he's choosing the more I'm trying to be a better person approach. But if you're just kind of like randomly jumping back and forth, it could feel a little disjointed. I feel like I'm going to be nice to this guy and a huge dick to this person, then 3 sentences later I'm going to go back to being nice. And
well, that's totally your fault.
That's something I sort of That's something I sort of realized.
Bipolar, Bigby.
He plays favorites, hates kids.
I sort of rationalize it to myself that human Bigby and wolf Bigby are like always competing, sort of like Batman and Bruce Wayne. And so when he's being a dick, it's like that's the wolf is kind of poking through. And then when he's like talking to a kid in this one, and he's got to be real sweet and real,
you can tell he doesn't
the kid.
You can tell he doesn't want to be nice to the kid.
Yeah,
like,
but
he always
he's
is looking.
He's suppressing the wolf. It's the wolf among us. That's why it's called that. Also,
like
he is literally a wolf.
Yeah, I feel like that leads more to everybody has got an inner wolf.
Maybe Bruce Wayne's the mask.
Bruce Wayne is the mask. So, reading through the comic books, Bigby is... Just to make a long story short, he has a soft spot for snow. Obviously,
yeah.
It shows a lot in this episode, but that's his background story. Like it goes, I guess when the adversary took over the what do they call it? The Fablelands or the Homelands they call it, and that's where
you got to stop because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Who is the adversary?
Okay. So these fables are in New York City for a reason, right? And the reason is because this guy named the adversary took over their homeland. So
is he like also fable-esque? Is he magical?
It's in the Fable lands.
They don't really mention much about him, but he is the reason why they are in real world.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So so back when the adversary took over their lands, Bigby, the big bad wolf, was pretty much the only one that could stand up to the adversary and his minions. Well, not really the adversary, but his minions, right? So he was able to walk pretty much, because he was the one that was hunting down the fables, right? The Three Little Pigs, Little Red Riding Hood, and stuff. And he was the bad guy. But since the adversary came, all of a sudden, like there's a worse,
enemy of my enemy type of thing.
Yeah. So, as the story goes, he was kind of just out there, and he saw what the adversary was doing. He was wreaking havoc on these fabled lands, and he didn't like that because they were horning in on his game. So then he started to antagonize them by attacking their camps and killing their troops and stuff, and to the point where he would actually kill their envoys or whatever, and then just release their prisoners. So, in effect, he became kind of like a hero in some of these fables' eyes. Follow me?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm entranced by the story.
And then, as the story goes, he actually saved Snow White and her sister Rose Red, and he actually became infatuated with Snow White. And so that is sort of like just the seed in which their relationship is in New York City, in this real world.
He's not the only one who's infatuated with Snow White at this particular point in the story.
But so knowing that, I'm kind of playing it like, okay, well, I'm still Big Bad Wolf. I'm gonna be a dick to everybody, but I have a soft spot in my heart for Snow White. And when I thought she was dead, I was gonna just like turn the city inside out.
Did you beat the shit out of that guy in the very beginning when you were interrogating him? Yeah, so did I actually.
I didn't really beat the shit out of him, but I let him know who's the interrogator in this situation. Like, actually, I didn't think what I was doing to him was that big of a deal.
I was kind of in that same situation. Like, I didn't do every option I had to inflict pain on him, and then when, spoilers, the real Snow White comes bursting in, is like, I can't believe you do that to someone. You're like, well, I didn't rip his arm off. I didn't. I didn't put my fingers in his eyes like I do to someone later in this episode.
Oh man, that was crazy too.
You guys all had Woodsman interrogating at the beginning.
No, I had D.
I had D as well.
I think it was D.
Yeah,
I had the Woodsman. So
it was sort of cool. I don't know if you guys really realized, but because Amber played pretty much the exact same time as I played, and we were talking about it after, and I was telling her how Dee was like, oh, well, I was there because Faith stole some stuff from my boss. There's my pizza. But Woodsman had a different story, and it was pretty interesting to know. Anyways, keep going. Sorry.
Get that pizza. We'll keep chatting. I just want to point out, I totally called it. And the last episode, I knew Snow White wasn't dead. I knew it.
As soon as that happened, I was so pissed off. I'm like, you went from a huge, like the story was going fine, and then they're like, oh no, here's a 180.
I feel like they did it well, though.
You were pissed
I don't think they did it well at all. I think her just barging into there and being like, oh, I was investigating something that we're going to just totally gloss over and then move on from.
Well, that was a bit of a cop. But you do follow up on that after.
For the longest time, though, I actually, as they were investigating the other body, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, maybe Snow really did die and somebody is impersonating her until
That's
the
kind of what I
wore
still
off.
think. Like, because this is they've set up that this is a universe where anyone can look like anyone else, where it's really hard to kill anyone.
I don't think they actually killed off Snow White. I think they pretty definitively said that Snow White's alive and it was somebody else looking like her.
But the way that they
or was when because there's that corpse on the slab, and then like the glamour falls off and it turns back into the troll, or is that when the glamour got put on?
No.
And maybe she is dead, and the fake Snow White is still a fake Snow White. I think she is. I was real short with, because she was being like unusually short with you. Like I
don't think so.
That would be such a mindfuck.
That would be,
but it wouldn't fit.
That would be way better than the way that they're doing it now. With the way that the first episode ended and the way that the second one started, it makes me think that what's his name?
Who?
Big B?
No, fucking
Crane.
Headless Horseman guy.
Ichabod Crane.
Ichabod. It makes me think that Ichabod is being set up as well.
Yeah, me too. Actually, yeah.
It's like you know what? Just because you pay a troll to put on a glamour because you want to fuck Snow White, doesn't make you a murderer. I mean, that's all they know, right? Is they know that just the troll got killed in the same spot, and that Crane was there.
Or someone who looked like Crane was there.
We're gonna start going down that road, huh? Like glamour on glamour on glamour.
Well, no,
they've already opened the door by fucking us at the very beginning of the episode.
They mentioned, like, they did a great job of, they mention it in the very first episode. They clearly tell you this is a thing that happens in this world, because you get on Toad for it, right? You're like, you better have your glamour next time I come back, and then they really kind of show you like what the impact of this would be in a quote unquote real life scenario. I think it's incredibly well done, and I like discovering new things about that universe. So yeah, we're just talking about the kind of big reveal at the very, very end, where you find out that without going too much into it, it was Crane, basically. You find out, but as far as we know, it's just somebody that looked like Crane. It not necessarily is Crane, because anyone can glamour to look like anyone, right?
Yeah. Pizza's here. Awesome. Thank you, Kevin.
There's one plot point that bothered me that I think felt really forced and didn't really fit, is when Bigby and Beauty were going up to room 207, and just suddenly out of nowhere Beast shows up. Like, why the fuck would Beast be there?
Yeah, for no reason, right? Like, he was just...
Like, if anything, Beauty should have turned around and said, "Why are you here? Who are you meeting?"
But this is the thing.
Obviously, he followed her, right? Like, it's logical. He thinks she's cheating on him, so he's gonna follow her.
But she had been working there at the front desk, presumably for the entire night. So why wouldn't he have gone in and confronted her then?
I thought he followed Bigby.
Maybe he did follow Bigby.
Yeah, because he confronts Bigby, and you're like kind of shifty. If you either tell him like, "Yeah, I saw Beauty," or you're like, "Nope," like really shiftily. I just imagined that he sort of tailed Bigby, and as soon as he saw him going into this whorehouse, he's like, I gotta find out what's going on. Was it even Beast? Who knows?
They don't cover that. But I'm guessing you guys covered the whole. Did you guys talk about Snow not being dead?
Yeah, I called that.
Kind of
I
dumb.
super called that.
I think it's super stupid.
I think my theory right now is that it's like a super double mindfuck, and that she is dead, and that she is the corpse on the slab, and that when she turned into the troll, that was when the glamour was put on, and that that there's a fake Snow wandering around.
You are totally trying to.
I'm hoping.
Well, hold on, because
that would be so good. Are you telling me that wouldn't be a fucking incredible twist?
Let me back up Matt's theory for a second here, because the moment she turned back was when Bigby and Snow were off talking, and Crane was the only one looking at the body.
Yeah, and also Crane makes you give him the glamour, doesn't he? You pull the glamour out of her pocket, and Crane.
That wasn't glamour.
That's not really glamour. That's just like a little.
Well, you don't know what it is.
No,
it's
the
a magical talisman thing, right?
I thought the charm was the glamour. I guess
they
thought don't tell us,
right?
Yeah. So who knows? Because then he opens it, and then a short while after she changes. So I could totally see it being like
that's
it's sealed.
Legit.
It's sealed in, and then Bigby opened it like they knew he would, and then it made the body transform.
That's
the big question is, what happens if you don't pry open the hand? Isn't that where you find the thing, or is that something else
in her pocket?
Oh, it's in her pocket.
She has a flower in her hand.
That stuff just feels sort of contrived. And I think you mentioned it earlier, Matt, where you're like, I don't know what you said, but it was the last episode where, we were talking about Beauty and her relationship with
Beast?
Bigby.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I think you were like, it would be shitty if they were withholding information, but in any case, it just feels contrived.
But they weren't like they are, but they weren't. It's that thing with any sort of twist movie where they give you all these very clear signs that once you know what the twist is, you can go back and be like, oh, look, they very clearly told me, but because we don't know what that endgame is yet. Like, they very clearly tell us about glamours because you get on Toad's case that he doesn't have one, and that pig that lives at your house, and like they set it up and then they just go fucking nuts with it, which I think is great because they're giving you the information, but you don't really, as a character, understand how far that stuff can go. Because Bigby himself doesn't know anything about glamours. That's why he's asking all the questions, and when you discover that charm.
I think you're getting a little too convoluted with it. I mean, it'd be cool if it were that way, but I don't think they're going to go that in depth with it. I mean, you're sitting here saying
these guys. This is the fucking Walking Dead guys that had you shoot a kid in an attic.
But
nothing is off limits
like
anymore.
Oliver was saying in the comics. I mean, Telltale's pretty accurately they stay pretty accurate to the comics, and Bigby and Snow have a pretty big relationship throughout the series of the comics, right, Oliver?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it feels weird though when Snow comes back. Like the way she talks and speaks to you, like everything felt sort of off.
Okay, so here's my theory on that is that she knows some shit that she's not telling Bigby. Maybe she knows that Crane's in on this.
Yeah, she knows that she's not Snow. Maybe she's. I bet she's Rose. I bet she's her sister.
I don't think that.
Oh shit, that's right. They did bring up that.
Because they spend a lot of time giving you little tidbits about her sister, so I fucking bet that is her sister.
I think it's got to be
either that or they'll just. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine.
You know what?
Either that or they'll end up being twin sisters.
Like, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that Snow was the corpse on the table, but I am convinced that the Snow White you interact with after she returns is not the real Snow White. Maybe Snow White is, like, captive somewhere else, but I don't think that is the real Snow White.
This whole, like, glamour thing and, like, people not seeming who they are, or not being who they seem, reminds me of, I think it was Mission Impossible 3, where everybody just had the face that they ripped off, and it was like, that's not Tom Cruise, it's
Wasn't that Mission Impossible 1? Wasn't that the very first one?
I think it's all Mission Impossible like that.
It reminds me of Battlestar. It's like the Cylons. They look like people, but they're not people. Or are they people?
Robotic DNA.
This one, especially that part where you're investigating the room 207, and fucking Beauty is just hanging out.
Yeah, I know. What kind of a cop am I, right? I told her to wait outside, and she didn't. And Bigby's just like, yeah, whatever. I could use someone in here to bounce ideas off of.
Well, I'm not convinced that it's not Beauty also, because like she was just chirping in. I'm like, let me investigate. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, to that point, like I was checking stuff out, and then it would bounce to Beauty, and she'd come with some stupid dialogue, and I was getting super annoyed, and like as Bigby, I'd be like, you know what, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm trying to do work. I don't need your input.
And I even went to talk to her too, and there was no option to tell her to leave. It's just like, yeah, she's stuck here.
She's in a state of shock. She's in a room filled with blood.
Why is she there? Get the fuck out! Holy Christ.
Her little quips are like it's pretty obvious what, like, someone was murdered here. Blah blah blah. Yeah. There's a half-eaten apple on the floor. They were recreating this weird sex scene of Snow White.
I hated that.
Every time it chimes over to Beauty, she's like, the murderer must have been hungry. You're like, no, you idiots. It's the apple from... Like, it's just the most... Like, she was intentionally just being a retard, which...
Just trying to throw you off.
But, again, like, that could just be Telltale, like, throwing you these red herrings.
Yeah,
and what happens when you choose one of the not right answers.
That's the thing you gotta consider.
Yeah. I don't know. I stabbed my fingers into Beast's eyes and went, ooh. And
that was crazy.
And then he was totally fine, which sort of bummed me out because I was like, I just fucking shut Beast up for good, and then he gets up and still has his eyes, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, he's just like pouring blood out of the eyes.
I was freaking out when that happened.
Well, if Woodsman can take an axe to the back of the head, Beast can take wolf claws to the eyes.
That was a cool fight, though. Like, that matchup, as it was happening, I'm like, that would be a good matchup. Like, Beast in Beast form and Wolf in Wolf form?
Yeah. I think next episode we see Big Bad Wolf, like, is 100% Big Bad Wolf. Yeah.
Well, it showed you at the end.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool.
So Matt, you honestly don't think it's Crane that did it. You think he's being set up.
No, obviously he's being set up.
I disagree. Because I think Crane is too smart for that.
He's too smart to be set up?
He's too smart to leave a fucking picture of himself creeping on this corpse.
Then why would he be standing at the magic mirror watching this shit unfold and then smash it when he sees it?
Because he's a suspicious motherfucker. And because earlier in the episode, I was just a dick to him. He was, like, broken up because he thought Snow White was dead. And I'm like, yeah, you treated her like shit. This is your fault.
I think he's pissed off because he's a perv that dropped something and forgot about it.
He's just a conniving motherfucker, and I don't know why he broke the mirror. That was a little weird.
He obviously broke the mirror because if he's being set up, nobody believes him to begin with. He's not going to get arrested.
Yeah,
he's got to run to clear his name, and what's the one thing that's going to stop him from running? Oh, the magic mirror that shows Bigby exactly where he is.
But by running, you are pretty much admitting guilt.
No.
No, Bigby is not one for a reason. No. Bigby is the kind of guy who like kicks the door down and says, "Crane, I know you killed this person who looked like Snow White, you sicko." And Crane goes, "No, I didn't." And then Bigby rips his head off.
See, that's not my Bigby.
Get the fuck out of there. Crane is such a conniving, suspicious bastard that it's totally in his character to just up and be like,
But it would also be within his character to be the pervy guy who wants to... He's around Snow all the time. It's his assistant, and he doesn't want to make a move on her, so he decides to go with the second best thing and get some sort of kinky shit out of it.
A picture of yourself under the bed that you murdered her in?
Maybe.
Come on.
Here's the thing. He had an entire body to dispose of, so something may have fallen out. It was tucked under the rug. It
was in a folder. There was more than one picture in there,
too. So maybe he took the pictures so that he could keep them for later. Murderers keep mementos of shit.
Hold on. Think about it this way. Somebody here, I'm pretty sure it was Eric, finished saying that Crane is too smart to be set up. If he's too smart to be set up, why would he leave the hotel room like that? Why would he A, kill her in a hotel room, B, leave it in that state, and C, drop something while he's disposing of the body?
That's true.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And then also, he was the one who was... Well, didn't he just mysteriously show up at one point? Like, when you get the body back, he just sort of...
Showed up in the basement.
Yeah,
I guess you're in the basement of his office, though, right?
He knew where it was. He's set up as like the leader of your people.
I guess he has that mirror too. That's weird. Do you think they'll fix the mirror? Do you think the mirror is gone for good? Do you think they'll be able to fix it?
I hope so.
But I like that thing.
I think it's dumb.
No way, I like that thing.
Yeah.
It's real dumb.
It's like the monkey paw. Like it never shows you what you want to see. It just kind of gives you a glimpse that fucks with you.
What the person is doing at that moment. That's what it does.
I sort of liked how, well, this is a small thing, but I liked how when Bigby would ask it's something, Bigby would just be struggling for a rhyme because that's what you have to do, and he'd be like, Tweedledum, that piece of scum.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I sort of didn't like how, like, after, I guess with a 5 episode thing, you kind of have to get on with it. But even if Crane is the guy, or whoever, the target or the murderer in this case, I don't like how it was just exposed this soon.
Yeah, that's right. That's another thing that makes me think it's not going to be him, because, like Oliver said, it's 5 episodes long. They're not going to drop their biggest hand in episode 2.
At the point, though, where they could be like, it was Crane, and then you spend the next 2 episodes of like, oh, we figured out it really wasn't Crane, and then in episode 5, you're like, oh yeah, it totally was. It was Crane the whole time. We showed you in episode 2. We just fucked with you guys the whole time.
That's exactly what they did in The Walking Dead season 2. They gave you essentially who the killer was at the end of episode 2.
You mean
but you didn't you didn't put a name to the thing. Like, it was
they didn't tell you at all who the killer was. You didn't
well,
even
no,
know
they didn't
that
tell you, but they gave you, like, the pieces were there to figure it out when you walk up to that station wagon.
That wasn't nearly as nobody in the world could have fucking connected that. That was one of those things where.
And that's kind of where we're at with this point, too. So if we're going to agree that it's not really Crane, there's got to be some obvious piece of evidence that we're technically overlooking.
I don't think the car was that up. Maybe it's the magic mirror. Maybe it's the mirror, and that's why Crane figured out it was the mirror, and then he fucking smashed it.
Maybe it's Buffkin.
No way. Buffkin's way too happy-go-lucky. He just wants to get drunk off wine.
And have sex with Snow.
Sure.
Does he?
No.
Oh.
Which one's
I was going to say,
Buffkin?
maybe he's the little green flying monkey.
Flying monkey.
Oh, fuck.
Wizard of Oz, or whatever that's from.
What about that Georgie Porgy scene? That guy was kind of cool.
How did you guys play that out?
What? Who?
Georgie
Porgy in the strip club.
Oh, the tattooed, the fucking pikey. The pikey.
The pikey, yeah.
The only thing I smashed was the TV.
I broke all his shit. I broke
everything. All of his shit. And I didn't attack him.
I didn't break a single thing or attack him and got exactly what I wanted.
Really?
See, that's kind of shitty.
Yeah, because at the very end, when you almost destroy the keg, you find the trapdoor, and then I didn't destroy the DJ booth. I'm gonna destroy this, and then he's okay, back up.
How did he destroy the keg? Because, I mean, that's a huge friggin' piece of steel.
He's the big bad wolf. He's really strong.
So what did he do to it? Tear it in half?
I don't know.
You said you destroyed all his shit.
Is the keg the very last one?
No, the keg's the trapdoor.
I don't think he actually just, he looks at it, and then he sees the trapdoor, and he's like, oh, what's this? I don't think he actually destroys the end one. Every time I had the option to break something, I broke something.
So did I.
Also,
Eric.
That game has titties.
Whatever.
That was totally out of left field.
That was kind of weird, especially in, the weird cartoon pop art type.
And especially the context. It's the Little Mermaid is a stripper.
Hell yeah.
That's hilarious, though.
You're like, I'm looking at the Little Mermaid's naked breast right now. It's weird.
Hey, here's a question.
Weird.
Okay, obviously a lot of these fables are Disney stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Little Mermaid being one. Is Ariel being the named Little Mermaid in the movie Little Mermaid, Ariel, that's who we sort of know as Little Mermaid. But is that a Disney property? Is that why?
No. I think that
Hans Christian Andersen, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a fable before it was a Disney story, I think. Wasn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, it's
her name's not Ariel in the game. She says her name. It's not Ariel.
Marissa.
Yeah.
Side note. I was playing 90s version of Trivial Pursuit, and one of the questions was, what is the first Disney movie that was an original idea? That was The Lion King.
Even that wasn't an original
idea anyway.
They stole it directly from a Japanese animation.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But
it's
every
shot
single
for
other
shot.
one that was out before that was...
like a story or a fable.
Yeah.
But even Beauty is named Beauty, where in Disney she's named Belle. So are those kind of Disney properties that they can't just use? obviously, right?
No, I don't think so. I think that they're just lending it to what we know, and then maybe Ariel doesn't want to be known as that, so she gave herself a different name.
Well, I think it's like two different takes on the, like, there is a Beauty and the Beast story that goes back to hundreds of years or whatever. Disney has their take, and then Wolf Among Us has their take. It's not like, I don't think it's they look at the Disney movies and then design their characters based on whatever's in Disney movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Eric,
What?
you said that you neither broke his shit nor harmed him. How did that go? Like, did you just not answer?
No, it was cool because I'm trying to build that Big B who's trying to prove himself as not just this impulsive, murdering, beat 'em up type person. You know, because Snow sees a better person within him. So I'm trying to build towards that. Yet, like Matt was saying before, you can still see that wolf peeking through at moments, and it's like it's on him to quell that. So in there, it didn't feel authentic because it's like, I've got this cricket bat, I'm going to beat the shit out of your TV, and then he doesn't. And then he goes to the next thing. So I think Georgie Porgy would have been smart enough to call his bluff at one point. So to go through 5 different things and just not beat it up, break it into shit, it felt a little disjointed, but it was kind of cool to see that you could make those decisions.
Yeah, that's kind of...
I don't know. I like the Big B that I'm playing out as, because like when I was interrogating, I didn't punch him, I didn't hit him, I didn't burn him, and I felt like it played out more authentically because you're trying to build somebody's trust, and if you go about stabbing cigarettes into their eye sockets, they're not really going to reveal as much shit to you as if you give them a smoke and a drink. It's exactly what they want.
George,
See, that's the thing, though. I beat the crap out of him for a little bit, and then as soon as he started answering the questions, that's when I offered him the whiskey. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?
I
now
drank
you
the
give
whiskey.
me whiskey after beating the crap out of him?" And he's like, "Well, you're cooperating now." And he actually says it along the lines of that, and it's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I like how it played out. It was...
Does anybody know the story of Georgie Porgy?
Nope.
Neither do I.
Not at all.
But
Great conversation starter.
I bet I should have looked in the Book of Fables. I didn't read his entry in the Book of Fables, which
Yeah,
is
you
usually
know what?
like my
I was-
go-to.
I don't think you could go to the Book of Fables in this one, because isn't it in that main office? And
No,
Yeah, you could go to it.
Anytime
No,
you press
in-
start, you
yeah,
can
the
go to
start
your
screen.
Oh.
your little notes, your Book of Fables.
Yeah.
Not the Book of Fables. But we met Bluebeard. He seems like a rat bastard, kinda.
Looks like in the next episode he becomes the temporary mayor.
yeah, he's gonna make
Seizes
some moves.
power.
What's
So
the story of Bluebeard? I don't know that.
I don't know the particular story, but he is a player in the comic books. Like, he's some sort of like
Is he a legitimate fable?
he's some sort of lord. I don't know what the fable is, but yeah.
Is he
His
a
story.
pirate?
No, his story is like he'll marry, and then sometime later his wives will disappear. And so he's gone on like this for years and years and years. And the one
Murdering
wife,
his wives.
the one wife that he eventually marries, like, he has to go out on business or do whatever the hell he does. And he's like, okay, well, you have free reign of the castle. Do whatever you want. Just don't look in this one closet. And she happens to look in this closet, and it's all the bodies of his murdered wives. And that's pretty much the story that they give us. And so he is like a bad guy, right? They give zero information about him in this game, unless you read those stories. But that's his backstory, and I don't know how it's going to play out in the game, but in the comic book, everybody's pretty wary of him.
He
Like-
seems like a douche.
One of the stories is like he's arranged to marry Rose Red. That's Snow White's sister, but Snow White or Rose Red knows his story, so she sort of backs out of the deal, and that just causes some situation.
Isn't Rose like missing at present? Apparently.
In this universe.
Yeah.
Well, Snow hasn't spoken to her in a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
So-
nothing's really.
We may have covered this, but Oliver, you're probably further into the comics than I am. I think I'm only on the 3rd or 4th. But does this take place before or after?
That's something I'm unclear of. especially before I played the second episode, where we all thought Snow was dead. Like, I was super unclear of when this takes place. I've heard that it happens before.
Is it canon though? Couldn't it be whenever?
Yeah, I don't know about that either. That's something I'm really curious about, because I'd like to know.
I wonder if it's like The Walking Dead, where they just kind of did it as a parallel reality of it. You know, like, this is our take on it.
With The Walking Dead, it happens in parallel with, like, Rick Grimes' story.
Yeah, it's supposed to be...
So, like,
it's canonical in the sense that they never interact.
Because you technically meet Glenn.
And Herschel. And then they break off, and eventually they meet Rick and have the main Walking Dead story, where you're supposed to think that Clementine and her story is happening elsewhere. As far as Fables goes, I don't know. I need to read up more on that, but I'm really curious to see as to where it lies in that world.
It's a heck of a game.
Yeah, are you guys pretty interested in this in the story and like the lore of this game?
I super am.
Yeah,
I like it. It's a good change of pace. I kind of like that there isn't a whole ton of action. Like Walking Dead, there's a ton of action and fighting off zombies and stuff. Like, I actually just kind of like the investigative aspect of it.
I really like when games take magic, but like real life it a little bit. Like it's gritty and it's how it would sort of be in real life, like the glamours and stuff. You know, you're buying black market magic basically, and I think that's really neat. I like when games do that. What were you gonna say, Kev?
I don't remember now. What were we talking about?
Out of football? Super Bowl? Wolf
Superb
Among
Owl.
Us, Episode 2.
Apparently, the girl, and I know I brought this up before, but the girl who voices Clementine does Toad, and she also is the voice of Beauty. I picked up on that during this
She doesn't
episode.
do Toad. She does Toad's kid.
That's what I meant, Toad
yeah,
Jr.
Toad's kid.
And
Toad
she also
Jr.
does Beauty.
Yeah, I totally picked that up on while I was playing.
Someone was just saying that the guy who voices Bluebeard also did Lee.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was
Oh.
wondering where, like, I recognized the voice, but I couldn't quite place it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know what? I did too. I was
Yeah.
I was listening to him. I'm like, he sounds pretty familiar. I didn't actually make that connection though.
Voice actors, they voice 10,000 characters.
See, that's the great part about not giving a shit about voice actors, because you don't spend your entire time playing games being like, you know, I recognize that from somewhere.
Unless it is Nathan Drake or whatever the hell his name is.
Nolan North.
Yeah.
Old
No way, Troy Baker is the shit nowadays.
Yeah, Troy Baker is totally the new Nolan North.
And I'm actually super looking forward to Infamous and seeing how he does his performance in that game.
Is he the lead?
Yeah.
Wow.
Troy?
Yeah.
Is the kid, the infamous?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I don't know his name, but yeah.
He's
neither do
the
I.
Infamous.
The Infamous.
Wolf Among Us, it's great. If you haven't played it and you just listened to all those spoilers, I guess you're dumb, but you should go play it. Heck of a game. Walking Dead Episode 2 Season 2, I heard that's supposed to come out this month sometime.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Man, I'm going to have so many games to play to talk about on this show.
Those guys are so busy. I figured they'd take another month.
Yeah, fuck it. If they can do Wolf Among Us at the beginning of the month and Walking Dead at the end of the month, that's
But
enough.
they're also doing 2 more games, aren't they?
Yeah,
You know-
whatever.
Well, they're gearing up for 2 more
See,
games.
okay, well, on that same thing, if they're working on them side by side, something I was super annoyed at with this game was like the technical glitches in this game. Like,
It feels disjointed.
Mine was my game was really choppy. Like
Yeah,
all the times
the
you guys
super
were talking
choppiness.
about the Walking Dead one, and
Yeah.
when you were saying it was choppy in the Walking Dead, I didn't have any of that. But this one was real choppy
Yeah,
for me.
especially
I-
on the like previously on the Wolf Among Us, like that part
Yeah.
for me
Yeah.
was
That's
I thought
right
it was
where it
gonna
fucked up
crash.
too.
Yeah,
I had, like, that happened in The Walking Dead for me, but I didn't really care for it. Like, I didn't really notice it, and I didn't really make a big deal out of it, but after playing Wolf Among Us and noticing it, I was super annoyed. I'm like, man, you guys need to, like, they need to polish that up a little bit because it sucks.
Well, that's what makes me wonder if there's actually 2 different teams working on it. Because
this episode was super delayed, remember? It was delayed like months and months, and they said they were having all sorts of problems and yada 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 yada, so who the fuck knows what happened.
When did the first episode come out? November?
Yeah.
October?
Yeah, October.
October, yeah.
Jesus, that was a long time ago.
So, yeah, I mean, like...
To delay it 5 months for an hour-and-a-half episode? Jesus.
Because they were having problems, man. Technical problems are technical problems. What can you do?
If they have 2 different teams, and if they do it in this staggered form so that they can have that time to sort of give it a little bit of polish, I would really appreciate that. Because...
That being said,
it
I would
actually
rather...
really bothered me this time around.
I would rather have it be choppy, but come out every month, than have it run great and come out every 5 months.
Yeah, I agree. The choppiness, it was annoying while it happened, but it wasn't so annoying that it took away from the game. Because once it loaded, it was good, right?
Yeah, once you get out of that previously on shit, then it's fine.
Sometimes in the scene switches, it was a little choppy, but once it caught back up, it was fine.
I thought it was okay. Like, I did notice it right at the beginning, but after that, I was into the story enough and into the game enough that it was like, whatever. I wasn't nearly as offended as I was at The Walking Dead.
That's weird, because I'm actually pretty offended now. Like you guys were with The Walking Dead. Because it ran fine for me, and I played it through. But with Amber's game, it actually froze up on her, and she had to restart. And I'm like,
really?
That sucks. Yeah.
It does suck.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's not incredibly taxing on anything, is it? It's like cel-shaded animation.
Who knows? Who knows?
I'm not a game maker.
Yeah. Also,
no
it's on the PlayStation 3, and I've heard that thing is a fucking wreck to make games for, so also, who knows? Apparently, they were having issues with the Season Pass on Xbox One, where anybody who bought the Season Pass couldn't download Episode 2. And that also sounds like the worst. Yeah, so they're having their problems, but it's a great game. Play it. Enjoy it. Eric Peters, did you play any other games, Kev, before we move on?
No.
Okay.
Who are you kidding? No, I didn't.
Yeah, I asked for posterity's sake. What about you, Eric? Play any games?
Let me tell you about a little game called Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc.
That sounds like it's made up.
Tell me about it.
So I got an email from NIS America, and they're like, "Hey, here's a PSN voucher for Danganronpa." I'm like, "What's this?" So, being a free review copy, I'm like, "Fine, I'll download it." I can't put the damn thing down. It's for the PlayStation Vita, and we were talking a little bit about it before the show, but it's essentially, and I've never played it, but it's essentially Persona without the RPG elements of it.
What is this game called?
Danganronpa. Just type in Trigger Happy Havoc PS Vita. It was released in Japan in 2 parts, and then the PlayStation Portable had the version 1, and then this is just Danganronpa 1 that they've ported to the Vita.
Okay, I hit images to look at some images, and the very first image is a straight up hentai. Straight fucking hentai. I shit you not.
Well, there was a TV series that spawned off it. I'm sure people.
What
did you type in? Trigger Happy Havoc.
Trigger Happy Havoc, and I hit images, and it is 2 what look like underage girls laying on. Oh, it's the same girl twice, and this is weird.
I don't know.
Why did you tell me to Google? What the fuck did you tell me to Google?
The first picture I get is of the Monokuma teddy bear.
Matt's internet settings must be a little different.
There's another one. 3 images down. There's another one.
Let me tell you about this game. So the premise of it is there's this high school that exists that only the elite of the elite students get to go to, and if you go to this school and you graduate, your life is pretty much set for you. And
sounds like the school I went to.
You play as self-evidenced by Kevin Byer. Life set, two tablets. So you play as this student who's walking up to the gate, and he can't quite figure out why he's been selected, because everybody else on the student roster is the ultimate at what they do, like the ultimate pop sensation, ultimate coder, ultimate prodigy, ultimate sports star, martial artist, all that. So they've all got their specialties in what they do. So he gets into this school, and immediately shit starts going downhill. Come to find out that you have all been, there's 15 of you in total, and you've all been trapped in this school by this evil robotic teddy bear named Monokuma, who's that, if you look up a picture of him, he's white and black, like good and evil. And the whole premise of the game is you are trapped here, and the only way to get out is to graduate, and the only way you can graduate is by killing somebody and then getting away with it.
That actually sounds exactly like the school I went to.
So the first 3 hours of the game is basically you getting to know the people that are in there, and the personalities in this game are phenomenal. Everybody's super unique. You start to build relationships with people, and you're essentially trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And then about 4 hours into it, the girl that you're developing this deep relationship with is murdered, and that kind of sets the whole rest of the tone of the game. And after somebody is killed, you hold this this class trial where you have to gather evidence and try to figure out who you think it is. And if you guess wrong, everybody else is executed except for the person who did the murder, and they get to go free. But if you guess right, that person gets executed, and then the game continues on.
So what impact does getting it wrong have?
I haven't gotten that far. I just got to the very first student trial, and then we started the show.
So do you also get executed? Maybe?
I don't know. I'm assuming so, because there's I don't know, there's a huge list of characters that you can see on the menu, and it says deceased or alive, 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 deceased. So I'm assuming that the first few you're not going to be able to get wrong, but as you get later in the game, you might be able to get it wrong. Or it could just be one of those with alternate endings where, yeah, you fucked up and you died right away. You're terrible at this game. But
let me just interject and ask you a quick question. How much is a PlayStation Vita?
You can probably get one for $179, $200.
Okay, so trading my new tablet for a Vita would not be a good idea.
No.
Okay.
What is up with this
you
game?
You have PlayStation
because,
Plus.
90%. If I just type trigger Happy Havoc and I go to images, like 50% of these are straight up hentai. Like what the fuck?
Yeah,
you must look at
man?
a lot of porn on your computers that your internet has known that you want the internet porn version of Happy.
That's not how that works.
That is exactly how that works.
There's even like
Totally how that works.
cosplay pictures of what I assume are scenes from the game, and girls got their titties out. Like what's going on?
It's a
Even
very
I'm not getting that,
game. It's a very
Like what the fuck
sexual-oriented
am I
game.
like? There's a naked guy, I guess. Sure, okay. Oh look, and now I've scrolled down far enough that I'm into body pillow designs of these same. Jesus.
It's interesting because
put your credit card away.
Jesus.
So much of this game is based on.
It's not the only thing I got to put away.
God. So much of this game is based on conversation with other people. I mean, you do get to explore the school a little bit, and it's all done through first-person mode. You walk around, you can investigate certain things, and they'll give you tips or clues on what's going on. But 90% of what you're doing is talking to other people, and you're building relationships with them. And the whole game is based on time of day. So there's morning, afternoon, and then night. And when it's nighttime, you physically cannot be outside of your dorm room for risk of punishment, and punishment is execution. So everybody stays in their dorm room. But during the day, you get to go out and interact with people, but that takes time. So you have to pick and choose who you want to spend time with. So if you suspect somebody of being a murderer, you're probably going to want to go and spend time with them, but that's also going to take up time from spending with other people to convince them that you're not a murderer yourself. So a lot of it is how you balance your relationships with people in the game.
I would be really interested to know if at the end of the game, in order to win, you have to commit a murder.
See, and that's what I think it is, because you play this really kind-hearted person in the game, because you're just an ordinary Joe. And you've got some real dickhead, arrogant people in there, but some of the other people are really down-to-earth, really cool. But the whole concept of it is you're completely cut off from the outside world. So he goes through this whole inner dialogue of, I can't personally relate to what these people are feeling, because suddenly everything on the outside is is gone for them. Me, I didn't have anything important to that. And about 2 hours into the game, they show you each person a DVD of here's what's happening on the outside world. And in yours, it shows a picture of your family or video of your family saying, hey, we're so proud you got into this school. And then it clips away, and that room is destroyed for you to presume that they've been killed. So everybody has their own personal DVDs that you assume that everything on the outside that they've once known is completely destroyed. So you can't relate to them, and it's kind of this process of you trying to relate to people that you have absolutely nothing in common with.
So it sounds like somebody played and really liked Persona, and somebody played and really liked Phoenix Wright, and went, I bet we could put both these games together, and it would totally make sense. Robot bears are going to capture people. Girls going to take their clothes off. All right, we got a game.
It did really well. I don't like anime-style games. I mean, sometimes the voice acting is a little cheesy, and it's not 100% voice acted, and a lot of the stuff that you read, if it's a character saying, like, what the hell, I didn't do that at the beginning, there would be a little voice clip like, hey, and like shit comes up way too often, or like, no way, and then she'll go on to talk about something else, and it gets like really annoying.
Exactly like Fire Emblem, almost.
But it's super intriguing. The story is really cool. There's a lot of plot twists that have popped up that I personally didn't see coming.
This actually has me pretty interested. Like, I know Persona
I'm actually pretty interested too.
Persona, I sent you guys that picture of the naked girl, and now you're like, yeah, okay, right. The Vita potential unlocked.
Potential unlocked. This one and that game that Oliver was tweeting about, where you got to rub the titties.
Hell yeah.
That game, man.
What's going on this fucking handheld? Oh man.
Persona has me interested, but I do not want to like pour in like that time to play like an RPG like that.
I've been told to get Persona 4 Golden, like that's the reason to own a Vita, but I've heard that you can easily spend 150 hours on that game. Yeah,
me too. This game, sort of in the same vein. I'm not really certain that it's exactly the same, but from what you've said, it sounds really interesting, and I kind of want to try it.
It's kind of cool because as you talk to people, it updates you carry on this personal PDA, and it updates their social report cards. So if you want to go back and kind of review, I mean, there's 15 people that you get to know, and obviously that whittles down as people die. But
wait a sec, hang on. What is
doesn't seem like that much.
What is the DA in PDA? Digital assistant?
Yeah.
The DA, PDA. So they're carrying personal digital assistants. Come on, Eric. Come on.
Okay. Thank you. They're carrying personal DAs.
Thank you. Personal digital A's. Got it.
So it kind of stores everything, and then you can go back and review things. But you can purchase presents for people if you're enjoying spending your time. Like there are girls in there that you can kind of woo, and one of them that you start to form this really close relationship with. And it's kind of cool because you never know. Like the whole concept of it is that fear of treachery is kind of what's going to break everybody anyway, because everyone kind of comes to this agreement of, hey, we're not going to kill each other. Let's try to buck the system. We know that the only way we can get out of here is if someone kills someone else and gets away with it. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to succumb to this. But everybody kind of has their personal guard up. Like, I don't know if you're going to betray me, so I'm not going to turn my guard down. So it's kind of like that mutually selfish or mutually assured destruction. You're setting yourself up by not agreeing to the terms fully. It's really cool to interact with these people, and like the personalities in this game are so cool. I like it, man. I'm sold on it. I know I didn't have to pay anything for it, but
how much is it? You said it was 15?
I don't know how much it's going to be, but it comes out on Tuesday, and I would strongly, like, if you really like those investigative style games, there's not much action.
I've never played any of them.
There's not much action. There are a few little mini games that can get kind of frustrating, but if you like story, if you like characters, if you like trying to solve mysteries, this game would be great for you.
According to the ESRB, there is no nudity in this game. There's blood, intense violence, strong language, and some suggestive themes. And the summary is, this is a puzzle adventure game in which players follow high school students attempting to escape from a robot bear captor.
That's a terrible description.
Yeah, it sounds about like Japan to me. I don't know.
This looks like it's going to be $40.
$40?
Yeah, it's a long game. It's real long. Like, I'm 6 hours into it, and I just got to, like, the first murder.
So, Danganronpa trigger Happy Havoc.
Good game, man. I like it. It was surprising because I got it, and I sent it to me, like, fine, I should probably play it and at least talk about it. That way I don't feel guilty about getting a review copy and
That's
not...
weird that they still
Are you
do us
still
review
soliciting
copies.
for review copies?
That's so weird that they still send us shit.
They just send them to me. Like, I haven't solicited for a review copy in over a year, and every game that comes out by NIS, I get a copy of it.
I run this website. Totally still active, super active. Send me some review copies.
So I put it in. I was laying in bed on Wednesday, and the email popped in. So I'm like, fine, I'll download it. I ended up staying up to like 1 a.m. playing it.
Wow.
It's really addicting. So if you've got an extra $40 kicking around,
boy, do I.
I have to
Mister,
buy
I own
PS
Battlefield
Vita
on
now.
every console.
I'm not going to spend it on
Just what
Battlefield,
happens.
that's for
It's
sure.
just what fucking happens, man. Sometimes you gotta buy multiple copies of Battlefield. It's necessary. Any other games besides Danganronpa?
I played the beta for Ace Combat Online for PS3.
Oh shit! Is that did that start?
Yeah, it did, and it was impossible to find because if you go to PSN on your PS3, it doesn't exist. So I had to go onto the PlayStation Network store, add it to my download queue, and then download it to my console from the download list.
That's supposed to be on PS4 as well.
I thought it was PS3 exclusive.
I don't think so.
Maybe it's PlayStation exclusive. I love Ace Combat. Ace Combat 4 I probably have played through 15, 20 times.
Yeah, I like Ace Combat too. Dogfighting.
Yeah, and I had a little bit higher hopes for the beta, and maybe they're going to include more game modes, but essentially all that they had this time was that you get dumped into a room with 8 people, and then it splits you into 2 teams of 4, and as far as I can tell, your team and the competing team are in different instances of the exact same map, and it's all just score-based. So you're not fighting other actual people in this game mode that I was doing. Essentially what it was who can beat the score and then do better on the alternative objectives.
That's sort of dumb.
It was kind of dumb, and I actually only got into 3 rounds, and it's either I'm good at flight sim games or other people are just really shitty, but every round I came out like 10,000 points above everybody else, and it wasn't that hard. I got shot down once.
It is just PS3, you're right.
It feels like it's going to be a huge money grab. So before every round, you have to pick the different type of fuel that you want to use, and there's stocked fuel, and then there's supplied fuel, and one of the fuels gets replenished over time, and then the other fuel, I'm not sure if they just gave you for the beta to just constantly keep playing, or if that's fuel that you can purchase to use instantly. But it doesn't seem like it's a game that you could just sit down and play all night long without actually spending a little bit of money. But
you can play this game and spend money? What's it called again?
Ace Combat Infinity.
Fuck yes.
So the tree to unlock the different airplanes is actually pretty cool because as you play, you get experience points, and then you can unlock and purchase new planes, and then as you use those planes, you can unlock new weapons for them, and it's like Call of Duty in the sky, but it's free.
You want to know what a really good free-to-play dogfighter that I've been enjoying is?
War Thunder?
Star Conflict. Star Conflict on Steam.
That's out? Isn't
yes?
that really ambitious?
No, that's Star Citizen.
Oh, okay.
Star Conflict is free-to-play in-space dogfighting. It's pretty fun, actually. I put a few hours into it.
That.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's okay.
Speaking of PC gaming, the Elder Scrolls Online beta was open again this weekend.
Yeah, and the NDA is down, it looks like.
Yeah, I noticed.
Maybe.
I didn't see my name watermarked on the screen, but I was afraid to.
No, and I saw people posting screenshots, and I saw websites talking about it. So it seems like we might be okay to talk about that now.
So,
even though we already did.
Last time you said you were playing with somebody else, and it felt really shitty and disjointed and everything because you and I chose the same faction, and we started out on Bleak Rock Isle, and there was some shit going down. So this time I joined up with one of our listeners just to play through and see how that went. And I went with a Khajiit, and we probably played for 4 hours just going through, and it actually felt like a multiplayer Skyrim game, because I never felt like we left and were popped into our own instance of the world. And
yeah, if you start in the same spot, and then as long as you keep up with each other, you'll always be in the same instance. But the problem is, you and your friends in a real... Not that wasn't... You know what I mean when I say a real-life setting. But you and your friends wouldn't always be on at the exact same time. And even then, you wouldn't always be doing the exact same stuff. So inevitably, you're going to get instanced out.
I'm wondering how that would work if... Because you can create groups, like just to play around with it. We've created a guild, and then we created groups. And there's some broken shit in there. Like, if somebody's in a group with you, you can't trade with them.
Yeah,
but
welcome to the beta.
If you walk up to somebody who's not in your group, you can trade with them, because we had some shit we wanted to trade back and forth, and so that was something that we found was kind of broken. We couldn't figure out how to leave the group and stuff like that. But I don't know, this game is selling me. The more and more I play it, this game is actually selling me on the concept of subscription pay. Yeah,
me too. Actually, I had a great time, and I sort of hit the end, quote unquote, of the beta. Like they limit you to kind of the first and second zone, so just so that you don't play through the whole thing and then fuck it, I'm not buying the game. But I was having a great time. I crafted some stuff. I fought some bosses. I did a dungeon. One of those big what do they call those? Not the Oblivion gates, but those big anchors opened up, and we shot the chains down, and a bunch of guys poured out, and I was like, I need some help at this thing, and all these people showed up, and we fought these demons, and it was a great time. I actually had a lot of fun.
This time I played through as a Khajiit, and I went as an assassin just because I wanted to stay kind of true to what the Khajiit were good with. And I found a skill that the Khajiit have that, or maybe it's just the assassin, that's a little overpowered in that it's the teleport attack. So if you go into hidden mode and you sneak up on somebody and you press the hotkey for it, your guy will instantly transport to him and strike him. But if you're hidden and you hit him from the back, I have yet to find an enemy that it doesn't one-hit kill every single time.
I feel like we can't say things like overpowered or underpowered because, again, this is a beta. Stuff will change. And that's always been... Have you never played a stealth character in Elder Scrolls? That's always been... You get that huge opening hit, and you kill whatever you're targeting, or else you have a real tough time.
But if you don't one-shot it,
then you have
a lot of trouble.
A real tough time, exactly.
No, I had a blast walking around using that skill. Like, I was one-shotting mud crabs and dinosaurs and...
Wow,
I was one-shotting all these level 2 NPCs. I'm overpowered, bro.
It was a lot of fun. I like
really,
to...
really enjoyed it.
Like, I kept playing my... what the fuck class am I? My Dragon Knight. And I was building him before because I wanted him to be this. I wanted him to basically be the guy from Skyrim.
Yeah.
So like big helmet with horns, like 2 swords, and then I'm like, fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna get way into magic this time, and you can totally just up and switch basically your playstyle just by changing. I put a staff on, I got a couple abilities, and I was totally like a ranged fire mage. It was cool. It was cool to be able to switch like that without having to commit to one style or the other.
I'm still not sold. I shouldn't say I'm not sold, but I'm super hesitant to just buy into this at the beginning because I've seen the trend of MMOs recently, and...
Well, the alternative, you either buy in at the beginning and you play when everybody else is playing and you actually get the experience they mean for you to have, or you wait for it to go free-to-play and you get it when basically nobody is playing, because when it goes free-to-play, that's why it goes free-to-play. And also, you're getting that shitty, watered-down free-to-play experience.
But I don't believe that that's true at all, because the people who play when it's free-to-play and who keep playing are the people that you want to play with. They're the ones who are dedicated to the game and who want to do the end-game content. Because the people who don't give a shit about it, they've already stopped playing and they don't care.
But doesn't free-to-play generally just mean, hey, we're only going to give you one character slot and kind of...
Well, if you look at how Tor did it, in Tor, free-to-play now, if you're on a free-to-play account, you level up slower, which means you do all your quests, and then you have to grind, which is the fucking stupidest. It also means that you can only roll on 2 pieces of loot a day in dungeons, so if you really want to get down and play that game, you better cough up some cash. It also means you can't buy a mount. It also means you can't have more than 1 skill bar on your fucking... Like, it's just, there's so many shitty hooks that they can work into the free-to-play stuff that I would rather just give them the $60, pay for a month or two, have my fun with it, and go, that's fine. You know what? Because it's like, it's basically a $60 game at that point, right? I'm going to play it for my 40, 50, 60 hours, and then I'm just going to put it away.
Yeah. When does this come out? Is this April?
April the 4th, 4/4.
See, and by then, I'm not sure I'll be done with Dark Souls, and I don't know.
I'm gonna get it for sure. I've bought in. The beta sold me enough that I'll buy in. I'll try it that first month. And
I'll see if maybe I can find
Fuck
if they have a deal, like a purchase deal where buy this and get 2 months free or something like that. Then I'll probably buy into it. But
I'm sure they'll have something.
I don't think you'll get 2 months free. You'll get 1 month free for sure.
Yeah.
But
And at that point, it's just a $60 game. So I mean, even if you play it for 30 hours and you're like, I'm kind of finished with this, that's still more time than you've probably put in for some $60 games. More time than I've put in for some $60 games.
Yeah, because I do not like MMOs, but I'm so incredibly intrigued by this. And I was talking to the guy I was playing with about what we saw at E3 2 years ago. Doesn't look anything like what we see now.
Yeah,
and how drastically they switched it.
I did a little bit of PvP too. I was only in it for maybe 20 minutes, and then they pulled the PvP down because they were doing some, like, everybody log in and see if we can break our servers. And it's interesting. It's kind of cool. It's very Guild Wars-esque. There's, like, hundreds of people, and there's siege engines, and they're shooting catapults or firing big rocks, and it's just kind of bedlam. But it was kind of... It was interesting.
I have no interest in PvP. Like, absolutely none whatsoever.
No, it's kind of fun. You're, like... It's not... Kind of in World of Warcraft, it was more like, if you're not a good player, because in World of Warcraft, even in the Battlegrounds, you kind of end up in these 1v1, 2v2 scenarios, where if you suck, you're just going to die over and over and over again. In this, at least, it's, like, so many people, and it's enough chaos that... Even if you suck ass, you're probably still going to kill somebody. You know, you're just throwing skills in. You're throwing spells into the big pile. I actually had a pretty good time. I knocked down a castle wall. That was kind of cool.
I'm more into it just for the Elder Scrolls world. Like, I want to explore around the universe because I'm just so drawn in by it. And I felt like this didn't have a lot of your traditional MMO quests. Like, go get this, go get 5 of these and come back. Go get 5 of those and come back. Like, everything felt like there was a natural flow.
Yeah, it is basically that, but it's very cleverly written where... to give you an example, I did this quest chain where there is this living coral in Morrowind, which is, it's always been a part of the series. Like, Morrowind just has this, like, it looks like sea coral, but it's on the land. And I did this quest where, essentially, it's go in and kill 10 guys, but really, the way they wrote it is you go in and end up, this coral is, like, sentient, because they've always claimed it has been, and it talks to you, and it's like, these guys are fucking up my shit. Need you to help me out, and then you end up allying with the coral, and it turns these monsters against your enemies, and then you lead this big charge of dudes down this hill into this town, which really, I mean, is basically kill 10 guys, but they dress it up enough that you're like, yeah, kill 10 guys.
That's great. I like that. I can get behind that.
Yeah, I'm in. They sold me. They confirmed that PS4 and... PC and Mac will be in the same servers. They'll have cross connectivity there, but PS4 will not be.
So PS4 will be its own server.
Yeah, which sounds like...
So it's going to be empty as hell.
Yeah, exactly. If you really do want to play the Elder Scrolls Online, just get it on PC.
Did you try plugging a controller in and playing it that way?
I didn't even try this time. I assumed that support wasn't in. They've claimed it will be at launch, which...
The more I play PC, the more I'm getting more comfortable with the controllers. I mean, I know that's something that you told me 2 years ago. Just keep playing, you'll get used to it. And
yeah,
I'm finally getting used to it.
My wireless dongle should be in the mail soon.
For your PS3?
For my PC.
For the 360 controller?
For the 360 controller, yeah.
Sweet, man.
See, I kind of
I have about a year to get used to it, apparently.
I'm kind of going the opposite now, where games on the PC are fine, but I'm so much more comfortable sitting in my recliner, looking at my big ass TV. So that's why.
Yeah, definitely. That's how I feel too. It's just that.
That's why I bought Battlefield on PS4.
Cheap on the PC.
Yeah,
and like, man, I'm just missing out, or I'm just fucking shoveling money to Sony, which I really don't mind, but I would like cheap games.
Well, like I popped on to play Metro Last Light last night, and I'm just there like, Jesus, it's been so long since I played a first-person style game with a controller that it felt clumsy. I wasn't as smooth as I used to be.
You adapt quickly, like
yeah.
It's maybe an hour or two of going like, this feels weird, and then you just fall right into it.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. Like, I bought Battlefield on the PS3, on the PS4, I mean, this week, because I was playing it on PC and was like, I bet this would be pretty fun on PS4, and also I really want to use my PS4. So here's another $60. EA? Well, to be fair, I got Battlefield 4 for PC by giving Best Buy a copy of 99 Nights 2.
Lucky.
So, fuck them. So yeah, bought that on PS4. That game's fun. It's still super broken on PS4. I assume it's the same on PC.
Do you think they're ever actually going to get around to truly fixing it, or you just think they're going to put enough Band-Aids on it that it runs and just kind of chalk that up to as a we fucked up big?
Like, it kind of was running fine, and then they patched it just recently, and now after that patch, it anytime you get in, like, a turret seat on a tank, it just crashes to the fucking XMB, which is so stupid.
To me, that's really, really, really depressing, because what Kevin and I saw at E3 last year was so promising. Like, I was all on for Battlefield 4, and then I started hearing about all this shit where the game just doesn't function.
Yeah, I heard this in another podcast.
That's the experience that I had when I played the game, too, is when I played the Commander version of the game, it was good. Mm-hmm. But when I played the Soldier version, like, my PC crashed 4 minutes into playing the game. So I'm like, well, this is fun.
Yeah, it's still... There's a bug where you'll shoot a guy, like, when you and a guy are shooting each other at the same time, there's a bug where, because it shows you what health people are at, you'll leave them at 0 health, and that one just fucking sets me off so... Because I'm like, I should have killed that... Oh, that guy was dead, but he got that fucking 0 health bug, and then he killed me because of it. Fuck you, EA, and then I just turn my PS4 off, and then I just walk back to my computer, and I'm angry.
Cordo, just hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brutal. And, like, the tank one is brutal, too, because even knowing that you can't go in the turret seats of tanks, you'll try to spawn into a tank sometimes, but if someone else does it at the same time, it'll just default you to the turret seat, and then you crash. And if you crash halfway through a game, you don't get any of the points you've accumulated for that game, which is super shitty, because as you're playing, you unlock these battle packs, which will have basically experience boosts in them, point boosters, and which I was kind of wary of at first. Like, it seems like a free-to-play hook, but you can't buy them, and also it makes it so when you're leveling up a class, you don't really... Like, I hate playing the sniper, so when I do want to play the sniper, I'll put one of these boosts on, and I can kind of level through the parts of the game I don't really like better, so that's kind of cool. But if you're using one of these boosts, you're accumulating all these points, and then it defaults you into the second seat of this turret, and then you crash, and then you... Not only do you lose all those fucking points, you lose that boost that you just used. Any time you used on that boost, it's just wasted. And they're pretty hard. They're not super hard to come by, but like they get harder and harder because you get them by leveling up, and so they get harder and harder to come by. So like every time I crash, I'm just like white knuckled fucking. It sucks, and it didn't used to do that. They patched it just a couple weeks ago, maybe like last week, and it broke that fucking turret thing, which is just it's brutal. It's brutal. I heard this on another podcast, but there has to be somebody somewhere writing a book about how this game got so fucked up. It came out in October. It came out in the middle of October. It is now February, and it is still...
I feel like they've done more damage with the patches than good.
I don't know. That's not true. Like, it doesn't... it used to be every time the hotel on the one map with the big, tall skyscraper would collapse, and that would kick everybody off the server. At least that doesn't happen anymore. Because then you would be like, oh, we're losing? Okay, blow up the hotel. Fucking wipe the game. It's stupid.
I mean, it's Battlefield 3 had some issues with it, but nothing even remotely as close to this.
Yeah, not even...
Battlefield 3 didn't even have many issues with it. I mean, I played it for a good 20 hours, just multiplayer, and I didn't crash once.
I think I didn't think it had crashing issues. It had issues with like people falling through the map and...
Yeah, it had a weird one where... sometimes a bullet would count as 2 bullets, so you would shoot somebody once, but really it would be twice the damage, and it had... Which is also in Battlefield 4, so it's great to see that these same issues have just not been fixed game to game. But...
Consistency.
It's too bad, because I'm having a great time with it. Even with the bugs and the crashing, like... Nobody fucking wants to play it with me. Nobody in the world. I'm just constantly on my headset talking to. I'm like, hey man, like, hey, we tore it up. What would you want to you want to
be my friend?
You want to squad up? You want to go to this next game together? And they're just like,
no, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm not playing anymore today.
Or you will get that guy, and you and him will roll around, and just, like, I'm pretty good by myself, like, I tear it up, but when you have, like, 3 or 4 dudes together, like, you can fucking wreck. But then you'll get that, finally, it's hard to find those people, and then you'll crash. And those people are gone forever. You're like, oh, great. Thanks, EA.
Does Battlefield 4 have the same, like, squad mode that Battlefield 3 had?
I think so, yeah. You're in
4-on-4.
Yeah, you're in a squad of 4, and you can spawn on any member of your squad, and you get like bonus points for doing shit with your squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super useful because being able to spawn in your squad means that if 4 of us roll into this, contest this point, 3 of us get wiped out. Well, I'm just gonna go prone for 10 seconds here, try and stay out of the shit, and then you guys can spawn back in on me, and we can keep rolling. Like, it's worth it to actually try and do some teamwork, but nobody wants any of that. Everyone's just a bunch of lone wolves.
Welcome to shooters on consoles.
Every time I played Battlefield 3 and I was with a squad, I'd have my headset, and I know they could hear me, and I would just be like, okay, just stand there so I can spawn on you, and then they would just run in and die. Like,
you should get PS4,
2 seconds away, bud.
And we should fucking roll together.
I don't have Battlefield 4. I only have Battlefield 3.
You should get a PS4 and Battlefield 4.
Why not just buy it on PC?
Trade that hot tablet for a PS4.
Let me trade you a tablet for
Matt
a PS4.
wants to play on his recliner.
Yeah,
Kev,
I do have it on PC.
It would turn into, hey, Kev, let's play, and it would turn into exactly 1 play session, and then Matt's like, I'm done with this. Thanks for getting
this week
Thanks
alone.
for buying a PS4.
This week alone, I've put like 26 hours into Battlefield 4. So on PS4 alone, I have another like 20 on Origins. So I mean, I'm still having a great time.
I've always loved Battlefield games, like ever since 1943, and
2142 was kind of...
1943 was only like 2 games ago. What do you... Ever since 1943? It's like ever since Battlefield 4...
What are you talking? No, that's not true. It's 3 games ago. Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, and Battlefield Bad Company 2.
And Bad Company 1.
No, Bad Company 2...
Bad Company 1 came out first.
Bad Company 2 came out, then 1943,
no,
then Battlefield 3.
1943 came out before Bad Company 2. Don't even fucking play me on this one, son.
Kevin, wasn't 1943 that $14.99 download PSN game?
Yeah.
It was actually really well done.
Yeah, it was really good. I hit, I think the highest rank you could get in that game was 5-star general, and I was 3-star general. So
Jesus.
I was really good at that game.
It's a lot of fun. I just really wish that I had people to play with. This is the shitty part of the generation switch, is that like all the friends I used to play with, they are either undecided or don't have a console yet, or they bought an Xbox One. So like,
you totally sound like an old man who's
sucks,
transitioning from like swing music to like jazz.
Yeah, the devil's music.
When I was your age, everybody was into the swing, and now
weird,
it's all
man.
jazz.
It's like all these trumpets. It's like colored people are in the band. I don't like it. I don't like any of it.
Matt, did you get your Xbox One?
It should be here on Monday. Yeah, and then
you better hope yours doesn't have that disk drive issue, or did they get that solved?
Who knows?
Probably not in the ones that are built already.
Who fucking knows? Well, they had a shipment. Oh, they delayed it. Like, it was supposed to ship on January the 31st, and then I got an email from Amazon. They're like, hey, we're real sorry. We don't have any, but we're going to give you $50. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I got to wait an extra week. No big deal. And so they gave me, apparently there's a $50 gift card coming with the order, and then it shipped on February the 1st. So...
Did you get any games with it?
No, I'm fucking fuck discs. I'm digital now, son. All right.
Great, you're gonna fill up that hard drive real quick.
Well, the way I play games, it's not a huge deal for me, and like download speeds are fast enough now that it isn't a big deal for me to play a game, play through it, finish it, and then just take it off my hard drive. Because if I ever do come back to it, it'll be a year, 2 years down the road where I can just re-download it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, totally. Can you upgrade the Xbox One hard drive like you can with the PlayStation?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think you can.
I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure because that was such a big fucking qualm with the Xbox 360 of you have to buy these proprietary hard drives. They're like $900. I'm pretty sure you can.
Apparently, yeah, I think you're right because apparently there was a big gripe about the 500 gig hard drive, and like hard drives have a partition set aside for the OS, but you really are only getting like 350 gigs or something like that. So,
yeah, whatever. I'm not worried about it.
On a 500? No. Oh,
that's what it says
you mean
for the Xbox One.
On a PlayStation, or yeah, on a console, yeah.
Yeah, you can swap them.
I think March. Like, I think once Titanfall is out, that'll be. Because like I do have tons of friends that are like I made in college, tons of friends from high school. We used to game all the time together, and now I think Titanfall will be kind of when. Enough of us are on the same console, and we all actually have a game that we all want to play. That'll hopefully be where we all play together.
That's what sucks about growing up that a lot of people don't understand is you don't have that infinite amount of free time to play with your friends.
Fuck that! I'm living in Neverland, man. Neverland. Little boy forever.
You, Eric, with the kid
on the radio,
literally 4 days away.
That's right. Peter Pan and I were hanging out playing Titanfall, man. It's dope. That guy's
Eric,
kind of
you're
creepy,
be growing up
but.
Rather fast, really soon.
Yeah, I still got the okay from the wife to continue doing the show, though.
Oh.
Yeah, until the first day of baby just screaming for 7 hours straight
We'll see
on
if
a
you
Sunday.
get the okay from us to keep doing this show.
Yeah, that's right. Fucking... What do they call those? Deadbeat dads?
Yeah.
Babies? I don't know what you're... I sort of hijacked your thing. You play any other games, Eric, besides Trigger Happy Havoc, Sex Time, whatever that one was?
Started playing Metro last night.
Yeah, how's that?
I think that's kind of cool. I started playing it last night.
It's really poorly written. Like, it's just... It's kind of like with The Wolf Among Us, how choppy the cuts between important events were. This one was too. It's like, all right, I'm on this mission, and then the mission was 3 minutes long, and suddenly you're back to plot dump, and then you jump in, and it was okay.
I don't like that word plot dump.
Why?
Because I like those parts. They're story parts.
You like the part where the guy sits and reads at you off of a page.
Yeah, there are good ways to have exposition and to get you that story, but like Castlevania Lords of Shadow, for instance, where Patrick Stewart is literally reading it to you off a page in front of you.
Even that, like, I enjoy. Like, because they're reading
Patrick
stuff.
Stewart, but
they're reading stuff, and as long as, yeah, maybe if the performances wouldn't, maybe that's sort of shitty, but I like these plot dumps where I'm learning the story, and that story in Metro is kind of interesting. Like they had me right at that opening cutscene where the kid is like, where he was telling us like those kids were they're fucking around or whatever, and he's like, I don't know what he said, but he's like, I've never told anybody, but it wasn't their fault. It was sort of my fault that they died or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
It's an interesting concept.
Plot dumps.
I like the game. I think there's a lot of neat first-person shooter elements to it. I mean, just little things like having to put on your mask or swap the filters, or when you walk through a puddle and shit gets on your mask, you got to wipe it off. Like, to me, stuff like that's cool. I'm not sure I'm sold on the whole Dark One.
So this is the sequel to Metro 2033, where they address what the Dark Ones are, how the Dark Ones came to be. Some shit goes down, some real big shit goes down with the Dark Ones. Do you guys know any of that backstory at all, or are you just coming into this?
Just coming in cold.
Yeah. I always thought that Metro 2033 was a racing game. Seriously, I saw the cover, and I'm like, looks like a fucking racing game.
It's a subway simulator. Like a subway system simulator. The whole first game is all about the Dark Ones, and I've only read the synopsis. I haven't played this part, but it's something to do with... Are you still... The fuck's the guy? Artyom?
Artyom, yeah.
Artyom? He... Yeah. Something can communicate with... Like, the Dark Ones are these... supposed to be this they're basically
he's immune to them.
Yeah, they're supposed to be, like, toxic to people around them, like psychically toxic. They basically, if you stay close to them, you go crazy. Mm-hmm. And so everybody hated them and thought they were these malevolent, evil, horrible things. And you find out they're not. They're like they're trying to come to humans. They're like, help us deal with this shit. But every time they get close, the humans go crazy and kill everyone. And then something happens where you resolve that in Metro 2033. I don't really know what goes on, but it is all about the Dark Ones. And there is like some big revelations in the end of that.
There was a flashback that I was assuming that they were going to have a little bit more importance on when you were in the subway and your character started going crazy and like stabbing the people that were around him, like his squad mates, and then as he's stabbing them, they look like Dark Ones, and then they come back to life, and like your bayonets in their throat. But the whole time, I felt like it was kind of in your face with his watch. It read 2032. Did you pick up on that, Oliver?
No, not at all.
His watch that has that little orange and blue light on it said 2032. I'm like, oh, maybe this is something to do with 2033, like the time and not the year.
What is that? A watch that tells the year? That's kind of
it's a clock. It's a military clock.
Oh,
was 2033 supposed to be? I always assumed it was a year, having not really played.
That's what I'm thinking, that it's not, because it was pretty in your face with that watch about it. I mean, they didn't point it out like, look at this watch, but you could see, like, that's the first thing I noticed is that the watch said 2032.
I didn't notice that because I was just panicking, like, oh fuck, these guys are coming, and then all of a sudden, like, suddenly it like took control. Maybe
that's a flashback to something at the end of 2033, and like some shit goes down at 2033, like military time.
Oh yeah,
maybe that's when the bombs were dropped. Maybe it's when the nukes dropped.
Those, yeah.
But don't they insinuate that this guy was the guy that pulled the trigger on that?
He was up in the tower. I don't think that flashback was a flashback of Artyom. I think it was.
Yeah, no, Artyom didn't have anything to do with the bombs, I don't think. He did.
He's the one that pulled the trigger on that.
He said he was up in a tower when he watched the bombs come down.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Which to me doesn't make sense, because wouldn't that put him in the blast zone? And
he's got some psychic bullshit power. He's mutated, linked with the Dark Ones. I don't know. Maybe that's why he got a little irradiated, so he's like halfway to being one of the Dark Ones. Who the fuck knows? It's crazy Russian madness in that game. Absolute madness. People pay for things in bullets.
I kind of want to read the book.
Yeah, it's based on a novel, right?
I've heard the novels are really, really good. Really good.
Yeah.
But that same person also said the games are really good, and I do not care for them.
It was interesting from what I played. I didn't get far at all. Like, I saw all that stuff, and I got to that part where I'm with some other guy. And so I'm super early.
Oh.
And
have you even made it outside yet? Like when you're capturing that Dark One?
Yeah.
How about the part where you have to break out of the prison?
Yeah, with Buddy Boy, right? And he's
They didn't explain how that went down, because suddenly you're walking through this crowd of Germans, and then he fires his pistol into the air, and the next thing you know, you're running. It's like, why didn't you just walk away? It's just like that felt really nondescript.
Yeah, I don't know.
That game's got Nazis. Maybe they were Nazis.
I didn't give it much time, but from what the time I did, it was pretty interesting, and I'm gonna play it some more.
I think it's one of those that I'll play and finish until something better comes out.
It's a thing where these free PlayStation games, because. And it's Spec Ops in particular, that game was like surprisingly good, and I really liked it, and it was a free PlayStation game. I'm sort of expecting all these games to kind of be like hidden gems that sort of jump out at me.
See, I take the other approach of like, I'm gonna play it, and if I don't like it, I'm not out anything.
Yeah, that too. It's just that Spec Ops sort of gave me like this nice feeling, and I started playing Binary Domain, and I'm like, oh this game looks what?
Binary Domain
sucks.
It does suck.
Phenomenal.
It's such a trashy fucking.
No.
I
started playing
trashy.
it. Well,
How far did you get?
I watched the trailer, and I'm like, yes, this game looks super cool. It looks classic Sega game. It feels like a Sega produced game or whatever.
Okay.
And I started playing it. Oh man, this game sucks. I even put my headset on and I'm like talking to these guys.
Yeah. It's so dumb. It's so fucking stupid.
Seriously, trudge through it. The story is so good in that game.
Does it get good?
That is phenomenal story.
The controls I couldn't really get beyond.
It plays like a Sega shooter. Of course it's going to be terrible.
I guess. Yeah.
Go play Vanquish. You want something
Vanquish
like that?
is great.
Go play Vanquish.
Anyways, yeah.
Let me direct you to the review of Binary Domain that I wrote.
Oh, here we go.
Not biased at all.
10.0.
Metro seems like a game that is totally a hidden gem that I really want to play through.
It wasn't hidden. It wasn't hidden at all. This game came out, it was the fucking talk of the town.
I guess
Metro Last Light was like a huge release, huge.
I don't think it like critically did that well though.
Huge.
Fuck the critics.
It wasn't.
Critics
It
are
wasn't on
always
any
dumb.
of. It wasn't on any of our radars, which is why we think that it wasn't a big thing. But it totally was.
Here you go, Oliver. Here's my review.
Any other games? We're running a little long here.
Tell me about how long we're running.
Run as long as my. Well,
Yeah.
long.
We'd have been done 2 hours ago if that was the case.
Any other games, Eric?
No. I didn't buy Bravely Default. I started reading reviews and people's impressions, and it did nothing but turn me off.
Really? They're saying it's the best Final Fantasy game in years.
But that last third section of the game, they said this game fucking sucks at this point.
Yeah, but the first 180 hours are probably great.
I don't know.
I watched like half an hour of some dude playing that game and went, what the fuck are my eyes seeing? No thank you. No thank you.
I don't know. I'll buy it eventually when it goes on sale. If it's like $20, I'll get it, but I've got too much other shit.
What a shitty name, by the way. Bravely Default.
Well, and the concept, it's based on your actions in the battle system. You can either go brave mode or default mode, but even that alone is dumb.
Fucking so stupid. The mechanic basically is if you brave, you are taking additional turns
up to 3.
Yeah. Well, up to 4 turns total. Up to 3 additional for 4 total, and then you wait. Like you take those turns now, and then you have to wait the 3 turns you took or whatever, which seems like.
It's cool because the enemies use the brave default system as well, so there's that fine balancing, but I would rather play through some old Final Fantasy games right now than try to take on something new. But apparently the directors want this Bravely Default to turn into a huge franchise, which it looks like it's at very least going to spawn a sequel. Because it is very critically...
the art style. It's like...
The 3D is terrible.
It's like the fucking like small bodies, big head style, but at the same time, they're like weirdly sexualized. So you're looking at these like weirdly sexualized child dolls,
and none of them have noses.
And you're just like, makes you. For some reason, it makes me do like I feel like I have to wipe my hand. I got grease on me.
The art style is when you go into a town, if you just stand still for a few seconds, the camera will actually pan out and show you the full town and like the surrounding environment. So the music and the art style are really appealing, but I'm just not in the mood for a new RPG series right now.
So are you still playing Final Fantasy IV, or are you finished?
Still trudging through it. I want to beat Mario and Luigi Dream Team, and I was kind of disappointed because I looked at how long that game is, and I'm like a third of the way through, and I've put 20 hours into it.
I'm still just disappointed that you've given up on our Final Fantasy VII.
How far are you on Final Fantasy VII?
I stopped playing when you stopped playing because I don't want to
stopped
finish
playing
it.
Because you stopped playing.
That is such a lie because I'm fucking like 8 hours ahead of you.
All right, let's pick it up. We'll set a date for a Final Fantasy VII show.
This is a factory sealed conversation, boys.
Yeah, keep that shit off of here. What are you guys doing?
Hey, I haven't had time to go on the factory sealed show in a while, so we got to have the conversation now.
What about you, Oliver?
Let me tell you about my trip to this
asylum
I had recently.
Yeah. Okay. I took the same trip.
Oh my
the
god!
Tour, like the tour guide showed you through. You got to walk. You got the little souvenirs at the end. It was great. It was magical.
I was by myself. Weird. I drove up in my Jeep at night. There was
fuck?
nobody at the toll booth or at the security booth, so I let myself in because sure.
That's
right?
breaking and entering. What do you? You
it
just
was
going
open.
in?
It was open. I didn't break anything. I just entered.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sure. I guess if the door's open, maybe night staff's out. They're like, yeah, just let yourself in. You want to take a tour? Okay.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking up to this asylum, like fun, safe asylum. It was nighttime. It was windy. Night wind was blowing. I see this guy in an upper window. I thought he was gonna wave me through, but nope.
There's a guy in an upper window?
You didn't see that?
No,
that was
I
crazy.
totally missed that.
Oh man, this game is fucking insane with all
what
that.
What game are we talking about?
Outlast.
Available on the PS4. It's the game of the month. The
Game of the
PlayStation
month.
Plus free game of the month.
Holy shit, is this game fucking crazy? Well, I mean, like we talked about it before.
Yeah.
But
We'll get there.
just my early impressions of it. Like, this is one of the scariest things I have ever played ever.
So it's very first person, like
Yeah.
to the
Like,
point where you see your hands move, you see your feet, you hold a camera in front of your face,
Yeah.
which has night vision, and night vision on cameras is so unsettling, and I don't know why.
Because it's just a thing where they've used it for these scary scenes so much that, like, when you do it in real life, you're like, wow, this looks just like that movie I saw once where the sick people came and you could only see them in night vision.
This
Anyways,
sounds a lot like that Xbox 360 game Criminal Origins.
Sort of, except in Criminal Origins, you could take a baseball bat with a nail in it and beat the shit out of whoever you wanted.
That's true.
In
in
this
Outlast,
game, you have no weapons.
In Outlast, they outline it really clearly at the very beginning. You are not a fighter. You need to run and hide from these things, which was weird to me, but whatever. I mean, that sort of set the tone. But you are this reporter, and you're following up on this lead about this medical company who, I guess the premise is that this medical company is using...
It's basically, what's the one from Umbrella?
Umbrella
It's basically Umbrella Corporation.
They're using like profits, not profits, but like charitable donations as profits to fund something just shady. And as a reporter, you kind of want to
You want to like you want the big scoop. You want to blow the story wide open.
Yeah, and so you're following up on this lead, and you're going to check up on this asylum, and like even the first step into this asylum, you realize like shit is not going right because everything's in shambles, and just stuff goes just incredibly wrong.
The game has full frontal male nudity, by the way.
Does it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I didn't get that far.
Lots of penises.
Is that when you turned it off or what?
That's
when I
why
turned it
Matt
on.
knows about it.
This is when that game turned the game on. You know what I'm saying?
Anyways, I heard about this game, and they're like, "Oh, it's free on the PSN. It's incredibly scary." And I'm like, "All right, well, it's free on the PSN. I haven't played anything on my PS4 since I beat Assassin's Creed, so I'll give this a shot." And I was actually super excited to play it because it's a game on the PS4. So I turned it on, and granted, this was after I played The Wolf Among Us. So I was just blown away by the look of this game. Like it looked super nice and
sharp. Looks really sharp.
Yeah, and like even I made this comment to Amber, and I was like, "Oh, it's awesome when you look down and you see your own body." And that's just a little thing, and I know a lot of games do it. It's just, again, I'm just blown away by the fact that I'm playing a game on PS4. But so you're walking through, and you have to climb up like scaffolding to get into this into this asylum or whatever. So that's already sketchy. But like the sound design in this game is pretty spot on.
So there's like a thing your character will do where you hear your character breathing because you're your character, and it's kind of like if you ever in horror movies when someone's hiding and they start going like. Yeah. Like breathing really heavily. It does that, and it for some reason it just like ratchets the tension up immediately. Yeah. It's like 0 to like 10 because your guy is just breathing heavy and freaking out, and then you kind of subconsciously start doing it with him. So you're kind of like hyperventilating, and you're like, nothing's happening, but I'm so freaked out.
Yeah. So it's probably best to play this with like 7.1 channel headphones.
In the dark, yeah. I was playing it with headphones in the dark, and it's fucking unnerving.
Not to switch gears, but that kind of reminds me of that game that I was reading about where they said that it's a game that as you become more afraid, the game becomes harder. Did you read about that?
I heard about that, yeah.
I feel like this would be one of those games where that would be perfect.
Well, there's no real
danger.
There is, but there's no scale of danger.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about it a little more here.
So, like, just even 5 minutes into this game was super tense.
You're also peeking in a very realistic way, which I think is super important.
To
mention.
You'll approach a corner and his hand will go up, and then you can press the R2, L2 buttons to kind of peek around, and that sound of his breathing, like even, and I noticed it most when I was peeking corners, like he'll hold his breath, and then you sort of like unpeak. I don't know what the word is.
Well, yeah,
and he'll let out his breath, and it went to a point where I was sort of like breathing along with him too.
Yeah, you
and
totally fall into it. It's
you get
weird.
Into it.
Yeah.
And I did not get far at all into this game, but there were just some legitimate scares that I jumped. And Amber was sitting right there next to me. She didn't really want to look at the screen, so she was playing on her phone. But she was just making fun of me at how much I jumped at some of these points. Like the first couple doors, well, not first couple doors, but like there's a few instances where it makes you jump.
So also, when you're opening doors, you have the option to, if you press square, you just kind of kick the door open. But if you hold square, you grab onto the door, and then you're using the stick to slowly open the door and peer around.
Yeah.
And then you have to turn your night vision on your camera on to see what's in there, and then you can, open it more, or you can like shut it. If there's someone in there, you shut it real quick.
Yeah.
But if you do it too quick, it makes a sound, and then he hears you, and then he starts chasing you, and it's really tense.
There's like the first few scares were very scary and really startled me a lot. I just really hate those jump scares. Like I feel like jump scares are super cheap, and
but they work.
They do work, but they kind of annoy me. Like it's just in addition to like what's popping out at you, of course there's like the stinger sound or whatever that ratchets up like the reaction, and I just feel like that's kind of cheap. I really like the psychological, like, creep into your mind, and like Silent Hill does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
see, that's the only thing that ever gets me is like a jump scare.
Really?
No, I'm more of a situational or atmospheric scare.
I'm the same way. Like, the psychological stuff doesn't really faze me because I'm like, oh, it's a video game. Yeah, the developers are kind of fucked up, whatever. But like the jump scares, well, at least they are kind of cheap, but at least they'll get a good like jolt out of me.
Yeah, they'll get a response at least. It's like watching movies like Saw or like that kind of movie. It's like, yeah, you're torturing these people. That's not scary at all.
No, but I mean, I just like the fact that, like, okay, I'm going into this asylum, and yeah, shit's gonna get fucked up, and of course there's gonna be jump scares. But I like the idea of like just the slow burn of what's gonna happen or what's happening in this place, just sort of creeping into my mind, and me using my imagination, because when it comes to this type of stuff, my imagination just runs wild for whatever reason.
There is a lot of, like, they do a good job of, they give you those couple jump scares right up front, and then they use them really, really sparingly, but because they've already drilled that into you, that you're like opening every door so slowly, and you're like just fucking tense, and there's totally nothing behind 99% of them, but because they've already fucked with you so many times, you're just like...
See, if I had the balls to even continue with this game, I think I would like it. But man, I am just like, from what
Is that scary?
The opening part is very. It's like nothing you have. Even I've played through most of Amnesia. It's kind of like nothing you've ever played before.
Is Amnesia? Is this comparable to Amnesia?
Yeah, Amnesia's the first person. You can't fight enemies. You got to run from them. Similar. Yeah. But this does a much better job of giving you agency over the character. Things like putting your hand on a door frame to peek around it. Yeah, and things like just the breathing and the camera, the fucking unsettling night vision. It does a really good job of...
So if like the world transition in Silent Hill scared the shit out of me, this would probably be terrifying.
Well, I've played a little farther than Oliver, and it is very scary. So... Eventually, they... Did you have anything? Do you want me to ruin it for everyone? Do you want to
Well, so there's this part that that just got me. It was one of the really big jump scares, and then you see one of the actual enemies, I think.
Chris Walker. His name is Chris Walker.
Chris Walker.
Yeah.
Okay. And he throws me through a balcony or whatever, and then I'm in this part, and I get introduced to this one character who I assume is kind of like a main wheel in the story. And that's about as far as I got, because I'm in this kind of central area, and it's well lit, and I, serious to God, do not want to leave that area.
Yeah, the first thing they make you do is go down to the flooded basement to turn the power back on. You're like, okay.
And as I was playing it, I was texting Matt, and I'm like, wow, I don't even think I can get as far as you can. But you tell me that it starts to show its game.
Yeah, the way that the enemies work is basically if they detect you, they'll chase you. They can hit you twice. It seems with every enemy, they'll like hit you once and you'll kind of like be staggered, but you'll get back up. And then if they hit you again, they'll do a big gruesome killing animation. But so because you have that one hit, it gives you a chance to get away. And also you can hide in lockers and under beds. And if you're hiding in a locker or under a bed, as long as they don't see you go in there, they'll never find you. Even though they, to sort of ratchet the tension up, they'll like open a locker and you're not in there, and then they'll open the next one and you're not in there. And even though you're in the very next one, they'll never ever open it. So it sort of starts to show... you can almost game the system, because you know that if I make it to a locker, if I make it to a bed, I'm totally safe. So I need to know where a locker or a bed is at all times, and then the way the enemies work is they'll patrol around, and you are kind of sneaking, and if they find you, they'll chase you. But when they find you, you just run to this room where you know there's a locker, jump in the locker, he comes in there, looks for you, doesn't find you, leaves. So it ends up, for me anyways, learning the patrols of the enemies was like, I go out and I see this guy, he goes into this room, and I have, well, the first part is you have to turn on 2 fuel pumps and the electrical panel to get the power back on. So there's 3 rooms, each one has a fuel pump, one has the panel. Every time you activate a pump, the guy will hear the noise and come check it. So he has a set patrol that he goes through all these rooms. So learning the patrol was as easy as basically... see him go into a room, he comes out and sees me, I run to where I know I'm safe, and I hide, and then he starts his patrol over again. So I know that, okay, I have to start on a different room. Oh, no, he caught me there. Okay, well, I run back to my room, I'm safe, he hides, I'll start on the other room. Okay, that one worked, and then, I got the next one wrong, but he detects me, and okay, so I run back and I hide, and then he starts over. And every enemy I faced so far, it is very, very easy to game them, and as soon as you figure out that they're really not threatening, because you can just run to these lockers, run to this bed, and you're totally fine. Like, the tension is just off immediately, because I'm just running around. I'm not even bothering to stealth anymore, because why bother? I always know where a hiding spot is. If I see a dude, I just run to my hiding spot. And you're supposed to do things like slam doors behind you to slow them down, and vault over stuff, because that'll slow them down. You don't have to do any of that shit. You just run, you make a beeline for your hiding spot, you slam yourself in the door. I've never been found.
And that kind of sucks, and that kind of kills it for me, because from what I played of this game, which is very little again, but I just thought that, just the atmosphere that they present and the tone that they start off with was just amazing.
I was sort of bummed, too, because, well, it's a win-loss scenario, because if it's super scary and, really atmospheric, I would have been like, yeah, what a scary game, but I would have never played it. Now, I might play it, but it's kind of a shitty game when you get down to it. Because, there's really... I'm basically just running my ass through this asylum. There's a little bit of... not even really puzzle solving. You just kind of explore the area, and, I found a key card. Oh,
I'm
it
interested
obviously goes to this door.
In the story, if anything, right?
There's ghosts. Ghosts. Supernatural. I don't know. I saw some guys get thrown around by an invisible force. So there is something of the supernatural going on, it seems like.
The letters and the emails or whatever that you find kind of give hints to what's going on at this place, and I kind of want to get to the bottom of it. And I was actually thinking of just trying to play it in broad daylight and daytime. If
you turn the sound down, that game is not scary.
Yeah?
That game is only scary when the sound is up, because the scary parts, the music swells in your face, and you're like, ah, and then...
Yeah.
But if the sound is down, you're like, oh, okay, I can hear the music getting a little bit louder. There's something scary coming. Oh no.
I was getting right into it. I had all the lights turned off, and I had the sound turned up, and I was getting into it, and I think that was a big reason why it had the effect it had on me.
Maybe it would be. I think that might be the only way to play this game.
Yeah.
Because like playing it just as a game, like I'm not really totally invested in it. I don't really want to get that scared. I'm just kind of playing it to play it. It's not a great game. But if I had my headphones on and it was dark and I had the sound way up and was working on my Outlast VO.
So I bought those Sony Pulse headset, which gives you a 7.1 sound right on your ears and has like these weird rumble packs that actually like give you haptic feedback with
that
the
sounds
bass.
Amazing. That sounds so cool.
It was awesome. It was really awesome when I tried it with my PlayStation, because I just watched like some video game trailers. But one of the ones was the Call of Duty trailer, and yeah, with all the explosions in that thing was rumbling on my head. I'm like, this is awesome. Unfortunately, when I tried it to chat with you on the PC, it was garbage. So I'm like, I decided to return them for that reason, because they're expensive. It's an expensive headset, and I just kind of want
for a 7.1 headset. $99 ain't shit, son.
$150 for the.
These fucking things. These Tritons that I never use because I don't like the way they fit. They were like $249.
Jesus.
And also, I don't like the. They are true 5.1, so they have 4 speakers and a sub. Whereas the Pulse ones are virtual 7.1, yeah. And like simulated is the way to go. Like these things kind of sound like shit, which it fucking pisses me off. For spending $250 on these fucking things, and they just do not sound good.
Anyways, I'm gonna try to get the ones that they're gonna release for the PS4, and hopefully that's a little bit better with the PC. If not, I'm gonna start looking into something like that. But yeah, with Outlast, I'd imagine. Though with a headset like that and that game, you could get like knee deep into that game and just be frightened to fuck.
Does it? Do those headphones only work with the PlayStation console they're made for, and PC?
Yeah.
How are they connected? Are they USB? They're wireless.
No, they have the wireless dongle, but you can hook it up to like. iPod or your Vita with.
Could I hook it up to my Xbox One?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
Because I would love a good pair of wireless 7.1 simulated headphones, but if I can't use them with the Xbox, I can only use them with use it with everything or not at all.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want. I want something that'll work with everything.
Well, I got a pair of Tritons over here, which I think they're great. I think you'll love them. They work with everything. I paid $250 for them. I'll give them to you for $199. What do you say?
$199. That sounds like a steal of a deal.
I'll cover shipping as well.
Shipping? You're not even going to drive them over next time you're in town.
Well, that's me covering shipping.
You covering shipping?
Mm-hmm.
Other than Outlast, I played a little bit more Republic. And that is a good game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because you're telling this girl, we talked a little bit about it last week. When you're telling this girl where to go and she doesn't go where you want her to go, that game gets frustrating because you get caught. And when you get caught, you get walked back to a cell, and depending on where you are, that cell could be a minute away, and watching this guard walk you back to a cell is annoying.
Like, you have to watch the whole minute-long walk back to the cell?
Yeah. And
there's no, like,
it feels,
put your palm on the screen to skip it.
It feels like I can do something to to save her, but I feel like I haven't unlocked that ability to do it.
Oh, okay, I see.
So I think that's why there's that. But I'm actually not even certain. But other than that, again, it's still a pretty cool game.
Almost done episode 1?
Yeah.
Cool.
I held off on finishing it because I want to buy the season pass. Because with the season pass, you get like the developer commentaries. Like you'll look around in the world using your surveillance camera, and you'll see like these camouflage. Camouflage is the developer, but you'll see their logo icon pop up, and you can click on it, and then that'll pop up like just a developer commentary. And at first, I thought there were going to be developer commentaries that sort of talk about situation that you're in, like a little bit of background on the story or whatever. But what it really is just they mic'd up the actual development process. So you got guys talking about like the geometry of the place and talking about what went into designing the area. And it's very technical and something I'm super not interested in. So I'm listening to some of these and I'm like, I don't care about this at all. So that's kind of disappointing.
Is that it? Any other games?
Metro, which we covered. Nope, that's it.
Yeah, we talked what I played. I played Battlefield, Elder Scrolls Online, and a little bit Outlast.
Speaking of ESO, I sent you a link. I found it where you can get it for $45.
Yeah, I see that. Is it digital?
Yeah.
$45 digital.
Yeah. So that sells me on it. I'll probably get it now for $45.
Yeah, sure. I'll probably put that transaction through after this show. Let's talk about some news. What do you guys say?
Let's do it.
A little bit of news here. Let's start. Okay, here's a sweet headline. Fucking Flappy Bird, it says.
That was me.
In this news doc here. What's been going on with this Flappy? Tell me about the Flappy Birds.
About Tuesday, I was pounding through Twitter and I saw somebody just post a tweet to somebody else like, "What's your Flappy Bird score?" And they posted like 30, and someone replied, "I got fucking 2." I'm like, "What the hell's Flappy Bird?" So I looked on iTunes and downloaded it. I'm like, this game's not that bad. So then, like exactly the next day, like Flappy Bird just explodes into the news. Like, this is a good thing to pass the time while I'm taking a shit. You know, it's you tap the bird, you go through the pipes, great, big deal. Like, I didn't realize how big of a news story this shit was going to blow into, and pretty much come to find out, like, this game is the reason mobile platform or like phone gaming is just a cesspool of crap. And
why? Like,
yeah,
justify that statement. What do you
because this guy, okay, his name is like Dong Nagoyan, and he created this game early to mid last year, and it was pretty popular then, but it just recently exploded into the mainstream. And the concept of it is you're a bird, you tap the screen, you go through the pipes. That's it.
It's like Helicopter. Have you ever played the old browser game Helicopter? It's basically Helicopter.
Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, this game has been done a million times over. However, as people started digging further into it, they realized that without any physical evidence, like his art style is almost completely ripped off from Mario games. The concept of the game itself, even down to the colors of the obstacles and the type of character you play, is torn from a browser game called Pio Pio, where you play as a yellow duck flying over green cactuses. So this guy was making $50,000 to $60,000 a day on this, and suddenly he just has all of this fame and getting all this money coming in. And he says yesterday, in 22 hours, I'm taking this game down. I can't take it anymore. And it's just.
Well, it seems like the thing that led him to say that was apparently, just looking at this story here, apparently Flappy Bird, it did kind of blow up, and it shot way up, and it basically drew all these allegations that he had paid somebody to basically set up this bot farm where people would go in and just rank Flappy Bird 5 on the Apple iStore over and over and over and over again. And his response to that, the direct quote I'm reading here, he said, "It doesn't matter, don't you think? If I did fake it, should Apple let it live for months?" So he didn't deny it, and he didn't even, not even a little bit did he deny it. He's like, "It doesn't matter. Who cares? Who cares?" And
well, in all honesty, how else do you get exposure for games like that?
You make a good game that people like and people talk about.
But you know what? That's the thing, though. Just like, let's say he did make all these accounts and falsely 5-star it so everybody saw it. Once everybody saw it and they saw how amazing it was and kept playing it, why is that a bad thing?
The issue with mobile gaming in phones is that people go onto the store and they just go to the what's hot, and then they click on that shit, and people are completely uninformed. So what's happening is we're getting replications of all of these shitty style games, because as soon as Flappy Bird went to the top of the charts, suddenly you got games like Floppy Dog and Flippy Turtle, and like people trying to play off that exact same style of the game. And if there was an article I was reading where you can actually hire people to clone games for you. They basically steal the code, and then they swap it out with different characters, and then they publish the game. And people try to play off of the naivety and the stupidity of people that just go onto the App Store and be like, this can't remember the name of that floppity-doppity game that somebody told me. This looks like it. So they download it, and before you know it, it's people are catering to the dumb masses that don't understand what they're doing.
Are you telling me
but why is that a problem? Why is that a
that
problem that these people get fucked over?
You're telling me that Candy Crush is not a legitimate spin-off? What?
Candy Crush is not the sequel.
What about Dr. Moira? Where you got to drop the pills down and you got to match up the colors to kill the germs? You telling me?
No, not his Russian cousin.
A little Dr. Mario joke for you guys there. I don't know if anybody picked that up.
Yeah, got it.
No, I don't think
that's where the humor's at, man. It's if you can see the video, it's up here. Up here. Batman's chest.
I have a huge issue with mobile gaming right now because it's just nothing but this money grab for let's replicate some game that just happened to make it big. It'd be like in the console.
That's all mobile gaming has ever been.
Let me tell you guys
from the
about
beginning
Dungeon
of Bejeweled.
Keeper.
Like, come on. From the beginning of mobile gaming, it's always been, hey, how can I get the most money out of the least amount of time and then have my game go away?
To be fair, I haven't played Flappy Bird, but are there microtransactions? I don't.
No.
Yes, there are.
It seems like he made all his money off of ad revenue. It's not like he was suckering people into the game and cheating them into buying something. It was just people were downloading and playing this game, which is not an issue at all. And I agree with his statement of it is shitty business that you hire a bot farm to boost your thing up, but I mean at the end of the day, the product is going to speak for itself, which makes the thing that he's just like, all right, you know what? I'm pulling it down. Fuck you guys. I'm tired of making $50,000 a day. Something weird is going. Like he claims it's nothing legal, but something super weird is going on.
I feel like there was a cease and desist letter issued, and
it's like, unless this is Phil Fish in disguise, because I think he's the only game developer in the world who has just been like, oh, you guys are talking shit about me on Twitter? Fine, fuck you, I'm not making my game. Like, how thin of a skin do you have as a game developer? Of course people are going to say shit about your game, even if it's the greatest game in the world. Even if it's even if it's Grand Theft Auto 5, the best-selling game ever. I bet people talk shit about that game to Rockstar all the time. Do you just throw your hands up and go, we sold 32 million copies. Fuck it. Let's do no more Grand Theft Auto. We're taking it down. Like, no, come on. What's going on here?
So there's
but when
deeper.
you're a private publisher like that, maybe there is a point where you're like, you know what? It's not worth the hassle. I've made enough money.
Read your emails if that's a problem. You're making $50,000 a day. You can fucking pay somebody to screen your emails and get rid of all the hate.
You're making $50,000 a day. How many days in a row do you need to make $50,000 a day before you can retire?
So you're telling me that if you were playing the Dinner Dangle Candy Crush on
but
the
you know what?
iStore.
I'm not this crazy motherfucker. If it was me, I would add microtransactions, and I would charge people to play my game, and I would dick them in their ass as much as I could.
Yeah, we're playing
maybe this
Kevin's
guy's like,
Puzzle
you know
Quest.
what? This stress is not worth it.
I do not understand it. I do not understand it at all. Especially, it's not like people are. It's not like people are. Well, maybe they are, but I mean, for the most part, people are coming up to him and saying it's just something that you can very easily get away from. Don't look at your Twitter. Don't look at your email. Like, what's the problem?
Eric believes me. Eric is totally on board with the money is not worth the stress angle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There doesn't have to be any stress. Like you have to be an idiot. You're causing yourself stress.
But it's your game. Obviously, you want to see what people think about it. Why would you just make a game and then turn completely off to everything that people are saying?
Well, I think that's why there's something more going on.
You've already stolen the art basically directly out of the original Mario Brothers. You've already done all this shitty business. You've paid these Chinese people to rate your app. Like, suddenly you get a conscience and you go, yeah, you know what? These guys are right. I'm going to take the game down. I don't think so.
It's not about the conscience. It's like, you know what? Maybe there is something going on behind the scenes, and he's trying to get out before he gets sued.
It's a super weird story.
I just see this whole Flappy Bird kind of as the culmination of mobile gaming right now, and it's just crap because so many people say, "Oh, mobile gaming is a viable platform." No, it's not, because the second you put anything remotely successful out there, there's going to be 10,000 replications of it, and they're just catering to nothing but money. They're not trying to make anything unique or interesting or even
Let me tell
fun
you
to
about
play.
The Wolf Among Us. That is a mobile game. Let me tell you about The Walking Dead. I think that's also on iOS. Let me tell you about Republic.
Let me tell
That
you
is
about
iOS
the last
exclusive.
17 Call of Duty games. All games now on console are replications of popular games. Like, you can't hate on a game because it takes an existing formula, improves on it, and makes it better. Like, you can't hate on a game because
I think
of that.
it's... Well, no, you totally can, but I don't think you can make a broad statement like iOS gaming is dead.
I'm not
Like,
saying
there's
it's
a lot.
dead, it
There's a
just
lot
kinda
of shit
sucks.
out there, but you know, there's also some legitimately interesting stuff people are doing, like Republic or Dungeon Keeper.
But there's too many people that are afraid to do shit like that because they're just trying to go after that quick buck.
I don't. No,
It's-
I don't think that's the case at all. I think the people who want to make that cool stuff will always make that cool stuff, and everybody else will go for the money grab. But it's as simple as
It's gonna get
just don't play that stuff,
It's
man.
gonna get overshadowed by the people who are purchasing these bot farms to push their games to the top.
I maintain that in today's internet-filled world, where we have Twitter, where we have Facebook, where we have 10,000 gaming sites dedicated only to gaming, that the good games will get their due.
Yeah,
They
people
will
are
get
gonna
theirs.
realize the games that are trash and that are just where they are because of bots ranking them up, and games that are like legitimately fun to play. I had a person strike up a conversation with me at work about Flappy Bird because she was having such a good time playing that game. Just out of nowhere, like, "Hey, you ever play Flappy Bird?" And I'm like, "Yes, I have. Let's go to the bathroom and have sex."
I'll show you my Flappy Bird. I'll show you Flappy Bird.
But yeah, it's
Talk
like
about this
like
Flappy
random
Bird.
people
Yeah, you gotta get the Flappy
who
Bird
talk
into the
about
pipes.
the game. Like, you can't say that game is only where it is because of the bots. If random people will come up to you and talk about the game.
Yeah.
Put the Flappy Bird in the pipe.
That's
Let me
right.
see your Flappy Bird pipe.
The
From behind.
did you guys see that Sly Cooper
Hell
I saw
movie
yeah.
that.
trailer? Fucking what the fuck? They're making a full feature-length Sly Cooper movie.
No.
Hey,
What do you mean,
no,
no?
they are.
I
there's a
know,
trailer.
but I don't. I'm on the fence about whether or not I like it because I love the Sly Cooper games.
It
but-
looks so stupid. It might be the greatest kind of stupid. It's too early to tell.
The what they did with Bentley and what's the hippo's name?
I just saw
I can tell you in 2 seconds.
Murray and Bentley. Like,
Yeah.
the voices changed too dramatically from the cartoon or from the games, and it just I don't feel like that game is going to lend itself too well to a movie adaptation.
from what
It looked
I've
cool.
never
It's
I've
weird.
never played those games, but
Neither
from
have
that
I.
trailer, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, totally, that can totally be a movie. So what do you mean by that
I just-
that won't work?
He's
Because-
just too involved in the canon of the game already.
No, not even
No,
that.
I totally get it. If you've played however many Sly Cooper games there've been, and Sly and Bentley and Murray have always been these
Yeah,
voices, and then now you're seeing them in the movie, and it's not like it's live action, like it's still CG in a weird way. Like, to just change the voice is a super weird decision.
Yeah, I sort of
And they
get that.
changed the art style really drastically. Like, one thing that everybody noticed was that Sly didn't quite look the same. He looked, they sharpened up his features. They made him almost look more adult and more mature, and it's almost like taking a darker spin on the series.
Well,
And-
sort of. I mean, the trailer is. It seems like they're setting up this heist, and then you find out they're trying to get to the donut store before it closes.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of dumb.
It seems fucking of all the video games to turn into a movie, like over the years that we've like, oh, the World of Warcraft movie is still in the works, the BioShock movie is supposed to be in the works, like all these huge franchises that maybe they would lend themselves to a movie, to like
But
actually get a trailer out of Sly. Like, this looks like it's totally going forward.
I feel
Seems
like a
so
Ratchet
weird.
and Clank one would have been a lot better.
I feel like all of these would have. It's like, no, don't make these. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Who's gonna want to see this? Sly Cooper fans. That's
Exactly.
it.
No, well, you put that commercial out in front of like whatever the demographic, like their demographics, the shows that they watch, and you'll get kids starting to talk and like, hey, I want to watch that Sly Cooper movie.
You think this is like a big push to maybe turn on a new generation of kids to the Sly Cooper name?
Maybe, I don't know. Like, I was watching it, and I'm like, okay, well, if I was that demographic, I would be sort of into that because that actually looks pretty cool. And I noticed that it's going to be done by the same studio that did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I really like that movie.
Well, it's kind of like what they're doing with the new Sonic game too. They're starting a new Sonic series, and they're rebooting it with a manga and a TV series.
Yeah. Sonic's legs are really long now, and
he looks like
Knuckles
Nathan Drake.
Knuckles is like 4 or 5 feet taller than Sonic, and has like this big bulky upper body. It's weird. It is so weird. That Sonic thing was just like outcry. The entire internet went no.
That trailer for that movie, even though it's not my thing, I can't really fault it for doing what it needs to do. And if it starts to garner the attention of these kids who will be buying these games pretty soon, that's a pretty good tactic.
Yeah, maybe. I guess. Yeah, you know what? It's one of those things that doesn't appeal to me, but
yeah, it's
I
not,
understand.
It's not geared to us.
There is someone out there that maybe
but
would appreciate
I guess
that.
Eric is. You're kind of into it, or you're kind of into Sly at least.
A little bit.
So I don't know if it sort of offends like the core, like that core group, but adopts like a whole new like demographic. I think that's a risk.
I don't think it so much offends me as it's just like this. Of all the games you could choose, why Sly Cooper?
Yeah, I guess. I don't
Here's
know.
something
Maybe...
we can all weigh in on. The Naughty Dog is allegedly working on The Last of Us 2.
I saw that.
It is currently apparently there's no hard and fast facts, but it is apparently in development for the PlayStation 4, due to be out in 2015.
I kind of wish this would be a series that would be a one and done.
Me
so
too.
do I. If Naughty Dog is working on The Last of Us 2, somebody somewhere messed up really, really badly.
Yeah.
What if it's a completely different story that doesn't have anything to do with the people from Last of Us 1?
At that point, they're just playing off the name.
Yeah, if that's the case, don't call it The Last of Us 2. Like, that is the worst name you could give that game, is The Last of Us 2.
But there's been tons of games that have done that. That's just like The Elder Scrolls. It's a completely different game. It's just in the same universe. Why is that a fault? Because it has The Last of Us name.
You can't really make that same comparison.
But you can make that comparison.
No, you absolutely not. Because
the start of a franchise.
In the Elder Scrolls game, even though the Elder Scrolls comes before the subtitle, the game is always referred to by Skyrim or Morrowind or Daggerfall. It's not The Elder Scrolls 1,
but
and then the direct sequel, The Elder Scrolls 2.
That's not the manufacturer's fault. Like,
no, that is the way that they bill it. That is the way that they advertise and present it, because they don't want...
Because it's advertised as The Last of Us 2, we have to hate it from the beginning?
No, it's the fact that this game doesn't warrant a sequel.
Yeah, I'm not saying I hate it. I haven't played it. Maybe it's great.
But what if it's not a sequel? What if it's just in the same world? It's a completely different game that has nothing to do with the first game. You're already writing it off because it says Last of Us 2.
Yeah. Yep.
I get
totally
what you're
am,
saying, Kev.
because what I'm seeing when I hear the name The Last of Us 2, what I'm imagining is Joel and Ellie, and that story is continuing. And if that's the case, somebody somewhere should be fucking hanged. That story is don't leave it. You guys made a fantastic story. Don't fuck it up.
Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 4. Like, come on, those are not the same game. It's in the same world, but it's not the same game. Why didn't you write off Assassin's Creed 4? All the Assassin's Creed games
beforehand built off of each other. They were continuations. And 4, they just decided to milk the goddamn cash cow.
It's the same thing.
Just tap a 4 on there.
Even if this is an Assassin's Creed scenario where it's identical mechanics but different characters, that doesn't sound appealing to me. That somebody fucked up.
You said yourself that, like, taking the Assassin's Creed series, you didn't like Assassin's Creed 3, but Assassin's Creed 4 brought you back into it. You thought it was a great game. You can't give The Last of Us the same carte blanche to make.
It needs a subtitle. Put a subtitle on it, and then I'll be okay. I'll give it a chance.
To completely write off a game before it's even technically announced because it says number 2 in it seems like the biggest move you can make.
My outrage is that I don't think they should even touch that franchise. Just leave it.
Yeah, we don't know when to just let good things be anymore.
Exactly. I don't think the world needs more of The Last of Us.
I bet you a bunch of people said the same thing when Resident Evil came out. They're like, you know what? We don't need a Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, and it gave us such great games like Resident Evil on the 3DS, Resident Evil Revelations.
What about Silent Hill? Silent Hill 1 does not need a sequel.
You're right.
Fuck these
great
guys.
Sequels like Silent Hill Downpour.
But 2 is the best one.
But you're going far into the lifespan.
This is how that starts. This is exactly how that starts. Last of Us 2 comes, and then that sells well, and then we have Last of Us 3. Suddenly, it's a yearly franchise. Suddenly, Joel and Ellie are up to their crazy new shenanigans every year. What will Joel and Ellie get up to this time?
If 4 years down the line, the game starts to suck, and we get 3 good games out of it.
I don't want. I would rather. No, I would rather. I would rather have one. And I would rather nobody sully the memory of just leave it. It's a pristine,
but it wasn't even a great
package.
Game. It wasn't even
amazing
for what it did. No.
It's very good.
It is not.
It is one of the best games of the last generation.
I agree with you, Matt.
Flat not true.
I absolutely agree with you that they should leave this alone. But
move on.
But like when the shareholders or whoever, the powers that be, see that this game was a super hit, it won a bunch of Game of the Year awards, they're gonna push for Naughty Dog to make sequels.
And that's shitty. That's how you get Guitar Hero. That's how you get Call of Duty.
If they slap on that Last of Us title,
Guitar Hero and every Call of Duty makes money. And people buy it. How does that mean not a good game?
Sure.
So one thing, I don't want this to turn into Uncharted. I don't want this to be another Naughty Dog Uncharted series.
You've played every Uncharted game. Sorry,
because
Oliver, that
Uncharted lends itself positively to that style of game. It's like, let's continue it. Nathan Drake's crazy enough.
How do you know this won't? You're writing it off completely.
For sure. It's up to Naughty Dog to sort of rein it in. And if they're pushed to do another Joel and Ellie like kind of story, that's going to be super shitty. But if they decide to sort of spin it off into a different story in that world, I'll be okay with that. That world is ripe with good stories. And it's all up to them.
It's a fucking zombie game again. Like can we please get away from this? It was great once. It was a great one-off.
We've been in this situation for the last 3 years, though.
I know.
We're gonna be in this situation for the next 3 years.
No. The generation is shifting. We're getting into mechs. Mechs are the way of the future. Mech games. Titanfall, that fucking mech-based surfing game that we thought was great.
Wave-based surfing game.
Let's bring the mechs.
Let me tell you.
If they can weave another story that's as engaging as that, then I'll be okay with it. But if they do start milking the adventures of Joel and Ellie yet again, that's where it's going to be shitty. And I'm sort of holding out hope that they don't do that. Because I agree with you.
That DLC for The Last of Us comes out on
14th.
February 14th.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah. It tells the story of like Ellie before she met Joel, when she was a kid, hanging out with other kids.
Before she was the savior of humanity.
Yeah. Well, it's debatable.
Well, would have been if it wasn't for Joel.
This is an interesting story here. Oliver, what would you say if I told you that you could trade in your PS3 and Microsoft would give you $100? Trade that thing and put it in. They have like a big, it's a very technical science bin that you put all the PS3s in, and then and a fine powder comes out the bottom.
So it's like a trash compactor.
Yeah,
$100 cold hard cash.
Except they call it a science.
No, $100 towards the purchase of an Xbox One.
Oh.
Only in the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico.
So then, essentially, an Xbox One would be the same price as a PlayStation 4.
Only if you ditch your PS3.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
My Metal Gears are on my PS3.
That's like the worst fucking deal someone could ever offer.
It's weird. Isn't that super weird of Microsoft to... I think that might be... I can't think of any example where that's something like that has ever happened, where a console publisher, a console developer, will offer you incentive to throw out literally throw out the competing console that you already own. Has that ever happened?
No, as far as like video game consoles, no. But like just recently, and this is weirdly related in that a tool supply, like it's just a place where we go as electricians to buy supplies. But they have this tool promotion where, hey, turn your DeWalt drills or your Makita drills or whatever, and get $100 off this brand new Milwaukee set. It's kind of
weird. That's weird. Isn't that crazy weird?
It's a push where Milwaukee wants to give them the new top of the line stuff for their old stuff and win over that demographic.
Well, what Milwaukee wants is for everybody to use Milwaukee, so that everybody else in the trade sees Milwaukee and goes, "Oh, they're everyone's using them. They must be good."
And you know what? It works, because I've always been using Milwaukee myself, but
they make great beer too.
There's been a lot of guys who have seen me using my stuff and seen other guys using their stuff. And then they hear about this promotion, and they're like, "Yeah, you know what? I really like this Milwaukee stuff. I think I'm going to hand in my old DeWalt in whatever form it's in, whether it's working or not working or whatever. You can still get $100 off this brand new set."
See, I haven't looked into this enough, but I wonder if you could turn in a fried PS3.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I'm sure you could.
It sounds like the same kind of thing, but like, as far as these tools went, like it worked like crazy. Like pretty much everybody on our site now has these new Milwaukees.
Yeah, on ManaTank, our site, ManaTank.com. Everybody on there. It's a little different,
but
it's
a
lot different because tools get banged up. You got to replace them every couple years, anyways. Like,
it is much
get rid
different.
of your PS3. Like, what happens to all the games? What like?
Because as far as like video game console goes, it's just to each his own, right? And with these tools, it's just like, because these guys have the opportunity to use the stuff and see that this stuff is kind of superior even to their old stuff.
Apparently, reading into this a little further, Microsoft has done this before with tablets and smartphones, but because the Microsoft tablets and smartphones have traditionally been piles of shit, I can't imagine anybody did that.
To me, this just seems like a huge, desperate money grab.
Well, it's just like when Matt got his copy of Battlefield 4. It's like, hey, they're just raising awareness of the fact that this game exists. They're getting more copies circulating, which in turn generates more word of mouth, which in turn generates more sales.
Yeah, I guess that was almost the exact same situation. Yeah. It's weird, though. It's like, to me, that is just insane. I can't imagine doing that. I can't imagine getting 100. I don't know.
Makes you wonder why they didn't offer that up with Xbox 360s.
At the same, well, because they want you
they
to
were
have
the same
an Xbox
price
360.
point, weren't they? But they were the same. They cost the same. Or PlayStation was more expensive at the time.
Also, if they, oh no, I guess you would have to turn in a PS2 to get an Xbox 360. I don't know. It's a weird thing to think about. I wonder if we'll see more. I
feel like
why doesn't Sony fire back and be like, trade in, if Sony has a thing where they say trade in your Red Ring Xboxes and get $100 off a PS4, I'll have 2 more PS4s for free.
Yeah, they would not do that though, because they're already cheaper than Xbox. They don't need to generate the extra sales. They don't need to get people talking about their system.
There was kind of a counter ad that in the same design as that Xbox ad, it said like, "Hey, keep your PS3 and still get $100 off the
cost of an Xbox 4 by buying an PS4, right?"
Yeah, because it's $100 less.
You can keep your PS4 and you can keep your PS3 and get a PS4
for the same price.
For the same price.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, and I was like, "Oh, that's clever."
I wonder if that bit them in the ass.
But I bet you Xbox generated a ton of new sales because of this $100 off.
I would be very interested to see some numbers. I wonder how many people actually traded in PS3s
But those are numbers that they'll never release.
No, of course not.
5-6 years down the line, right?
Well, yeah, the only way they release those numbers is if like 5 million people trade in PS3s.
Yeah,
it's just
then
like
they'll
a
be like,
whole
hey, guess
shitload
what?
of PS3s.
Fuck you, Sony. This is what we did.
Yeah, it's
Dick
too bad.
on the
'cause
table.
It's been a really interesting, like this generation shift has been way more cutthroat than it has been last time. Everything from like no one knows if it was last minute, but I assume the last minute $100 price drop on the PS4, the Xbox One changing all that online always DRM shit. Like it's been really a lot of backdoor shady business dealings.
Yeah.
It's been weird.
But that's good, man. That the competition between them that honestly I never felt with the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Like sure there was like some games between the two that you had to buy on one console, but it was never like, hey, fuck you, buy us and we'll give you extra money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great for us. For the consumer, it's totally great. I just wonder how they're doing off of it. One last story that I want to talk about here. EA has released a press release stating very clearly that Titanfall will not suffer from the same launch issues as Battlefield 4, because that has been all anyone can talk about. They're rolling out alpha tests right now, doing things like stress testing, all sorts of alpha beta. The beta, by the way, for Titanfall, could open up literally tomorrow. Could be any time now. Apparently they have
said how you get into that?
It's not really clear yet. They sent it out to cert. It's just waiting on EA to certify it, and then it'll be open to the public. It's confirmed you don't need to pre-purchase Titanfall. You don't need to pre-order it. Nothing. The beta should be open to everybody on PC and Xbox One.
Because that might be the thing that convinces me to buy it.
That game looks amazing. I don't know why you still need convincing. Like, that looks like the game. That looks like this generation's Call of Duty.
Because if I get that the same day that I get Dark Souls and the same day I get a kid...
Kids, whatever. Leave
Hi,
that guy
Christy.
at the hospital.
Kevin
Hey.
says hi, Christy.
Look who's back there.
She says
What's
hi.
going on?
Yeah, that's right.
Give us a
She's
baby
trying to
update.
be quiet.
Tell her to give us a baby update.
They want a baby update.
I'm
What
sure
you
the
want?
update is,
It's
fuck,
still
I
a-
hate being pregnant.
Get this thing out of me right now.
Any day.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys all set?
Not at all.
Oh, that's good. You
Do
just
you
got the
even
hat.
have a crib? Let's
We
just say
do.
that.
We have a crib and we have a stroller and we have breasts to provide milk.
Has your crib been pimped? Has anyone pimped your crib yet?
Do
With
you
what?
plan on trying the breast milk directly from the source?
Sorry,
Sorry, when we have these long shows, I have a
yeah.
lot to drink,
It's fine,
and I
it's
get
fine.
more ignorant.
Let's kick it over to some emails. How's about that? What do you guys say?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Podcast at ManaTank.com is the email address. You want to write in some emails. First one this week comes from Cody. He says, "Hey, MTP crew. I've chatted with Eric on Steam, and the game Hearthstone came up. I was wondering if any of you have heard of it. It's a free card game based on World of Warcraft. Eric said he might give it a try, but thought Kev would enjoy it most. And I thought it will give him something to do but play that hot pile of garbage MPQ. Thanks for reading. Cody."
Hey, Cody. Fuck you. End of conversation.
I've heard of that Hearthstone game.
I've
had
heard
that,
of it.
I've had that Hearthstone game for, I don't know, a few months now.
Isn't it still in beta?
It is now in open beta. I had access when it was in closed beta. It's it's very good. It's very good. If you want a free-to-play, fairly simple trading card game, not even really trading card, like, I don't know what it is classified as, but it's great. Yeah.
It's like Magic, isn't it?
It's a lot simpler than Magic. And,
So it's a gateway drug.
Yes, very much so.
well,
I
not
want to play
necessarily.
Hearthstone. I want to play it so bad, but my computer is notorious for not accepting anything that is Blizzard or Blizzard related. Like, Matt knows my struggles with trying to play Diablo 3.
Yeah.
It's like, I cannot play Blizzard games. I wish I could, but I can't.
It's a great game, and it's an open beta, and it's free. There are a couple free-to-play hooks, but they aren't super invasive.
I would throw fucking money at this game.
That's the thing. No, that's the beauty of it. Even if you want to only pay money, even if you just want to dump money out every chance you get, even that, as long as you don't suck ass and lose every game, you're not spending that much money.
Well, see, I would just buy packs. I would buy a ton of packs and open packs.
It's cheaper to play the arena. The arena is fun.
More fun.
Not more fun than the arena.
Kev, how much money did you used to spend on cards when you were a kid, like going to the grocery store and?
How much money did you spend on Magic when you were an adult? Let's talk about that.
I stopped playing Magic when I was still in school, so that was probably good for me. But when I was in high school and early university and still working, 100% of my disposable income went to Magic the Gathering. 100%.
Thousands and thousands I remember one time you bought like 9 boxes and we just sat there and opened packs.
Let's not play. My collection was the fucking dopest of anyone's ever known.
Do you still have that collection?
I sold it about 6 years before the bubble burst, and I could have made a lot of money on it. If I would have held on to my Magic collection, I could have sold it today for about $50,000.
What'd you sell it for?
Guaranteed. I got about $7,000 for it when I sold it.
Yeah, it's one of those things though. Like, take the money now or take the chance of it going lower later.
And that's what I thought at the time, right? But going back and being like literally 2 days ago, I went to Warp One, which is a comic and card store in Edmonton. And I brought in a playset of Polluted Deltas. You remember what those do, Matt?
Swamp Islands?
Yeah, they were the fetch land for Swamp Islands. And I got $300 for them.
From Onslaught, right?
Yeah.
Those are $300 fucking bucks? How much?
$300 I got for a playset.
What was the black-red one?
Flat out yesterday.
Something Meyer? Because I had over 50 of those, because I thought it would be real fun to collect those in case they were worth something one day.
Yeah.
And I think my mom just gave them away.
For probably $40 a piece right now, because they don't have blue in them. If they had blue in them, they would be easily $75 a piece.
I think I just gave all that shit to some kid who was way into Magic. To be fair, he's probably playing with them and enjoying them and having fun.
Exactly. I went into Warp yesterday, and I'm like, I brought these 4 cards in, literally 4 cards, and they got me $300 cash.
Wow.
Sucks. I wish I still had some idea where that shit is.
And I still have a ton of cards that I can sell and make big money on, but I'm at the point now where it's like, I'm just going to hang on to them.
Yeah. I sold a bunch of it. I sold, like, all the stuff that was worth anything that I had, I sold. I think I made, like, $800 or $900, which was alright for me, because I was 14, 15.
Yeah, exactly.
So I didn't put a lot of money into it, so...
But it's like, when I had people who know what Magic is will know what we're talking about, and people who don't can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, fuck you.
But I had basically a full set of dual lands, and when I sold them for $20 a piece, and now they're worth between $150 and $200 a piece. Like, I could have got 10 times my money if I held on to them, but...
Yeah, that sucks.
How do you know, right?
Because
how do you know?
They weren't really worth anything at the time. They were okay. You just sort of got them because, you know, you always added them for extras if you were trying to trade for something, and they're like, I don't want to do that. You're like, well, what if I throw in these 2 dual lands? They're like, oh, okay, now I will. So you just always wanted some, and then
and that's one of the main reasons why I liked that game, is because I was really, really good at getting good deals for my cards. Like, I could trade,
hustling the kids.
I could rip people off beyond all belief.
One time,
and that was the greatest part about the game, is like, I have this card that I know is worth $4, and I'm going to trade it to you because you think it's worth $70.
One time, I traded the same card to a kid twice because he was too stupid to I'm like, because the way it used to be set up was you had binders. You had all your stuff that was worth anything in a binder. You would give him your binder, he'd give you his binder, you'd both look through, you'd pull out what you want, and then you'd work out a deal. But this fucking kid wouldn't pull it. I'm just like, just take it out of the binder. It's no big deal, man. Like that's just the standard. You wouldn't do it. So he didn't take the card out and didn't get it, and then came back to me like the next day because it was a pre-release or something, and was like, "Oh, I'm looking for these. How about you trade me this one?" I'm like, "Yes."
It's like, yeah, I traded this to you yesterday, but you forgot to take it.
How about that? No, fuck him. I ripped him off. Stupid asshole.
I loved ripping people off, man. It was like the greatest thing. Like, you could go to a pre-release, and the best stories you get coming out of that pre-release are the biggest rip-offs you made of people.
Used to be fun. Fun time, man. They used to be a good
super
way to
lot
spend
of fun,
money.
yeah. Looking back, it was like those moments were why I played Magic. Ripping people off.
I sold you a foil 8th Wrath of God one time for $50. And
yes, you
I
did.
am, to this day, not sure if I got ripped off. I think it was a fair deal, but
It was a fair deal. Like, the people I knew, don't get me wrong, the people I knew got fair deals out of me.
Oh, okay.
But when I went to a pre-release, man, those people got fucked.
You sound
Jason.
like a great person.
Wait.
Okay.
What's a pre-release?
That was
when the next set comes out, they have a tournament the week before it comes out, where you go and get to play with all the new cards.
Oh.
And it's just basically a place where everybody who plays Magic congregates. So you can get access to stuff that you don't see in your normal play group.
I see. And
It's
so,
sort of... Sorry, go ahead.
and then you'd just be dealing.
Yeah.
Wearing sunglasses. Always wearing sunglasses. Oh, man. Jason writes in, says, Good morrow from fair England. I recently took the opportunity afforded to me by the PlayStation Plus service, this is how people talk in England apparently, to delve into a game I would otherwise never have played, BioShock Infinite.
Oh, okay.
No, BioShock Infinite, on a little retro console known as the PlayStation 3. I've never been a huge fan of the BioShock franchise, but nonetheless have played through this one and some of 2, not expecting much. Played through some of 1 and 2. Not expecting much from this one. I threw myself into it and love the futuristic technology mixed with the old pre-Civil War American setting. My question is this: what game or franchise could do with a new setting? The core mechanics and the feel of the game would remain the same, like with BioShock Infinite, but the new setting or time period would help expand and refresh the gameplay. I would love to see an ultra-futuristic Assassin's Creed with no eavesdropping missions.
Let's get a medieval Metal Gear.
Yeah. Just something
that wouldn't even fucking make sense. Why would there be walking tanks that can launch nukes in medieval times?
They're like the big wooden Trojan horses and shit. They gotta build with what they have.
Trebuchets.
Yeah.
And
I always thought...
round tables and shit.
Yeah.
I always thought that
just political intrigue.
I thought a medieval Call of Duty would be sweet.
That would be cool.
You and... It would be like you, and it would be a lot like the Modern Warfare 1 and 2, where it'd be like you and a cast of characters would be like this elite squad, and you'd have to, like, you know, there would be a huge battle raging, but you would have to sneak into the castle and assassinate the king or something. I think that would be cool.
I could get behind that.
Also, I think an ultra-futuristic Call of Duty would be sweet, too. Just get out of... It's like the same thing where they made all the World War II games for so long that, like, alright, let's get out of the modern warfare thing now. Time for something new.
I thought they were going to do, like, a Space Marines Call of Duty.
Yeah, they probably will eventually. Drinking Guinness, by the way, Kev?
Budweiser Crown.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
It is the best beer you can drink. It is so fucking good.
It's the king of beers.
Arguably, because it is a spin-off franchise of the Budweiser franchise. I'm like really, really drunk right now, so I'm sorry if shit is going off the rails.
Kev, the question is, what franchise do you think could do with a new setting that would bring you back into it?
The Last of Us.
Okay. What setting? What new setting? What would be revolutionary here? Pre-apocalypse The Last of Us? That sounds boring. That sounds like people going about their business normally.
I could get on board with like a mystery-style game about how the virus started.
Okay, yeah. I could see that.
With Big B?
You know, give me Big B, give me anyone you want. Give me Snow, give me the top off, give me the head off, give me all of that. But
fucking talking.
No, I honestly think that would be a cool little game. Like not like a 40, like not a $60 release, but like an expansion $20 like 6-hour game.
Yeah.
Like just give me a little bit of backstory rather than, oh, shit hits the fan and your daughter dies and now you're crazy.
Yeah, because you never see shit hitting the fan. It's always shit hits the fan and then you start playing, basically.
Yeah,
you never get to go through when it goes wrong. I think that would be a great idea. What about
Drunken Kevin?
Yeah.
Writing video games.
He's a philosopher.
It's a great idea, actually.
Kevin, Eric, any contributions? Anything you think
I said medieval Metal Gear.
Any real contributions? Medieval Metal Gear makes no fucking sense.
It makes a ton of sense.
What
Metal
do you
Gear's
want?
all about
What do
political...
you want? You want a medieval stealth game? It's called Thief. It comes out on February
I want
the
a
14th.
medieval game that has nothing to do... Like, nothing... Let me rephrase.
25th.
I want it to be all
25th.
Politics, like a medieval political game done in the vein of Metal Gear.
How would you do that in the vein of Metal Gear,
So
though?
what would the gameplay be?
Fuck if I know. Take
It would
Metal
be-
Gear, slap some castles in there.
No, see, it's not a real suggestion.
No, so basically he wants a Walking Dead style game about medieval politics, right?
No. Metal Gear set in the 1400s.
Shut up. I'm gonna mute you. Stop it.
Because they're already doing that. It's called the Game of Thrones game by the people who make Walking Dead.
War hath changed. Last question comes in from George. I think it's George. Says, hey, Matt, Kevin, Swag, and Eric. During the 2013 New Year's show, Swag said he lived in a hotel for some time, and I want to know why.
Did I not
I
explain
thought we
this?
covered that.
I don't know. If the people are asking, maybe
Sure, okay.
maybe it was...
There, sort of suffice it to say, the craftsmanship in my condo that I live in was a little shoddy, and apparently it did not keep the water out, like shelters are supposed to do.
The way I imagine it was it like you heard like a dripping or something late at night? You're like, what is going on? You like open the door and it's just a wall of water just...
No, basically, one time my sister woke up and she woke me up and she's like, "Oh, there's water pouring into my room," and
Oh no, water pouring into the room.
like under the door, like I'm
no, like through her window, like because the envelope of the building wasn't sealed, so like it was after like a warm day in the winter, so a lot of the snow on the roof melted. And it started just pouring through. And the way the roof was engineered is it didn't promote like the water to just pour off or slough off or whatever.
So
it
your
ended
swale was all fucked up.
Yeah.
Bro, you gotta fix your swale.
And so what happened was for a time it would thaw and it would just kind of it would build up there and then it would freeze up and then that creates ice damming. And then so in the springtime when everything would like thaw completely, because of this ice dam, instead of sloughing off, it actually funneled into the building. And it just came to a point where this one time on a warm day in winter, it's just started pouring into my unit, and we're on the third floor. There's
I was
gonna
say that's
above us.
That's concerning, being on the third floor and having water pouring in the windows.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, I could just imagine the fourth floor people are just inundated with water. I don't know.
End of days. Water's made it up to the third floor.
So, anyways, after a bit of investigation or whatever, they found like, okay, well, we gotta get into your unit. We gotta tear stuff apart. We gotta fix things. And even to this day, there are portions of our building which are completely hoarded off, and they're still doing repairs.
That's a good ending to like. To this day, they say they can still hear water dripping, but nobody knows.
The good thing is that like the original contractor has claimed responsibility, so if them and their insurance covering it, we're not footing the bill on this thing. You like that ending?
He liked that, huh? All right, let's wrap this up.
Myself. This could go on.
If you're watching, we'll keep it on him for the video. If you're watching the video, we'll watch it to see how long Kev laughs for. But
What the fuck's his deal?
he's still going. For everybody who's listening, I highly, highly recommend you go to the video towards the very end of it, maybe 2 or 3 minutes before the end, and just watch Kev lose his fucking mind. Like, still, he's basically double
To this.
he's losing it, man. He's like, he's gonna throw up.
He hasn't dropped his beer.
He's gonna throw up on camera. It's gonna be fucking hilarious. Oh man, let's wrap it up here. That guy is sloppy. Oh, it looks like it froze. Okay. Follow me on Twitter if you like. I'm the Matt Eads on there. Whew.
Follow me, OJE_A_, which is, still dumb. For people who are friending me on the PlayStation 4, they need to send messages and tell me that you're a listener of the show, because otherwise I will not accept you. Please and thank you.
Who else would friend you, though?
I guess so, because I'm not playing online or anything.
You might as well just accept them all at this
You're
point, because you don't
a
play
popular guy,
games.
Oliver. Everybody, I want to friend you.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. But still, send me a message, because I like chatting with people on the PSN.
I have a rule though. If you send me those chain letters on PSN, I will block you and delete you. Like,
I've never
send
gotten
this
one
to
of those.
50 people, and you'll get $50 in your PSN account.
Whoa. Tell me more about getting $50 in my PSN account.
Well, just have a lot of people add you.
$50.
So, you can find me at Honest Pizza.
Hey, you can follow me at Dinner Dangles.
Welcome back. Way to really rein it in for the end
I
of the show
had to mute
here.
myself. I was kind of losing control there for a second.
We saw. It was really funny. Oh, that's going to do it for the show. We'll be back here, who knows, maybe next Sunday. Probably next Sunday. We'll see. Until then, we'll see you all in the next edition, ManaTank
Podcast.